Sullenberg going back. I mean, I think he ended up having like 200 career hits. George Springer a little bit before that. This Keith Kruger guy, I'm ready to be impressed. If you're going to play center for Jim, better be pretty good.
They have so many guys that seem to play for, I mean, I'm not talking about being on the team for 4 years. It's almost like, you know, he builds them, and he told me that's how he's got to do. He builds them up over 4 years, so there's always that rotation where every 4 years you're going to have a big freshman class. There's not a lot of, I don't want to say balance, but a big groups coming together all at one time. See, I mean, he told me when I interviewed up there, he's like, look, I got to get pitchers out of here. I just find big guys that can hit, develop them over the 4 years, and it works.
Nice shirt.
All right.
Keep getting new attire every year.
Dude, I got, for the first time, I got like super loaded up by HQ last week. I got 2 shoes, pants, shorts, 5.
Just keep
I was like, this is awesome. This is great. Well, I'm sure you get tons of Tiger gear.
I got quite a bit.
Yeah.
A lot of it I paid for, though.
Half my room could be Tiger Nike gear, and the other half Reebok CrossFit gear. It's nice worth in athletics. Don't buy. Well, a few clouds in the sky here this afternoon in Clearwater, Florida, but we are playing baseball at Spectrum Field in Clearwater. I'm Jeff Bryant alongside Garrett Wolvert, and we've already had one thriller today, Garrett, as the Houston Cougars and the Tigers exchanged some runs in the 8th, but it was a big pinch hit home run that gave the Cougars the deciding run. So if this game lives up to what we saw earlier today, it's going to be a blast.
I think so, too. Cincinnati's finally got to make some noise in Clearwater. They returned all but one of their position starters, all 3 weekend starters. Got to make some noise now.
Jim Penner's ball club, too. They lost so much on offense last year for the tournament champions, but they just keep rolling along.
And they continue to place pitchers on the all-conference tournament team 4 this year. They've got a talented player in R.J. Thompson for Cincinnati. 5'10" senior, leads the Bearcats in hitting with a .349 average and 17 doubles. He earned All-American Conference second-team honors. He'll be a key to Cincy's success today.
Well, we told you about how much experience UConn lost on offense. They're being led by a junior this season, Willie Yawn.
Willie Yawn did not let a broken hand slow him down to start the season. The junior third baseman leads the Huskies in hitting at .316. He is the toughest player statistically in the conference to strike out. Just 5 punch-outs in 88 at-bats.
The Bearcats and the Huskies today. It's the first round of the American Conference Championships. They're playing for a day off tomorrow. We'll take a look at the starters when we come back on the American Digital Network.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Getting set up here for first pitch, it's P.J. Poulin for the UConn Huskies. Carries a 2-0 record and a 3.41 ERA into the opening round.
Poulin is a sophomore and a lefty, 6 foot, 179 pounds out of Marion, Mass. And, you know, one of the few guys that Coach Penders recruits that's not 6.5 feet tall, throwing 95 miles an hour, but still a very effective talent. You touched on it, though, just 4 starts on the season, none bigger than this one here, trying to put the Huskies in the winner's bracket against Cincinnati.
That's a good point you make. It seems like every time you see a UConn pitcher, they're already big league size. Here we go to start out game number 2 of the American Conference Championships. Again, moving up a little early because of potential rain coming in late tomorrow. Well, not late tomorrow, but maybe midday tomorrow, lasting through early Thursday. Nice job by the conference, by the way, to make the adjustment. All the teams were in place here in Clearwater. Much better, and the coaches had a big say in this decision, Garrett, to go ahead and start earlier rather than bumping things back up and potentially having semifinal elimination games on Sunday morning.
There is a 100% chance of rain in the next 24 hours, but after Thursday morning, mid-morning, it's going to be beautiful all the way through Memorial Day weekend. Great place to catch some baseball.
That will be a strike at the knees, and so a 2-1 count here on R.J. Thompson, who we looked at the pregame. 349, 4 homers, and 27 driven in as Poulin looks in. Just his 5th start of the season. He's had 18 outings. 2-1 as he lifts that one foul down the right field line and out of play. We've got a lot of baseball to play here, Garrett, but it's going to be, you're really going to have to provide something really special if you're going to get a bigger hit than the pinch hit home run by Grayson Padgett earlier this morning.
Hug the line, down right field, off the fair pole, and put his team up. Big strikeout there to get things going.
So one away as R.J. Thompson goes down looking here to start the ball game. That'll bring up Brian Noda, the first baseman.
Puts it right at the knees, over the plate. Got to pull the trigger on that one. But more on Padgett. I mean, you talk about a pinch hit home run for the ages. Your team is down by 3, and you're able to put them up by a run, and you move your team into the winner's bracket. That's the way to do it. He had 1 home run on the year against a guy like Connor Alexander, who's a starter, a veteran. Didn't see it going that way.
Pitch leaves it just to the outside. Our umpires, by the way, Brandon Cooper at first, Asa Howard at second, Mark Ewell at third, Harry Greer, the home plate umpire, here this afternoon. We've talked about trying to advance in the winner's bracket. A lot of motivation for these teams, as coaches will always talk to them. The 1-0 is up high about playing for the postseason, playing for championships. This team trying to have its own legacy, but really, Garrett, when you're in a bracket like this or a tournament starts like this or some of the old tournaments where you played 4 games in the day, there is no bigger motivating factor for an 18 to 22-year-old than not having the 5:30 a.m. wake-up call.
Absolutely. And, you know, an opportunity to be here and be fresh, that's exactly what these teams want. If UConn could go into the winner's bracket, they've got so many arms. They'd be so well set up to make it to Sunday's championship game. Cincinnati's got some arms as well, too. I want to see the offense come through.
A 2-1. Took a little bit of a high hop that time on Nesda, makes a nice adjustment. And quickly 2 away here for Poulin.
So Thompson and Noda retired. That'll bring up Connor McVeigh.
Connor McVeigh, the junior third baseman, 279, a pair of home runs, 28 driven in. Has knocked in 13 doubles this year. So quickly 2 up and 2 down for Poulin to start off the ball game. You almost always want to be home team. You get the last crack at it, but it's funny. You get into tournament play, and you've been around along, Garrett, to know that sometimes coaches actually sometimes prefer being the visitor in tournament play. They want to get on the board first in these tournaments.
Take whatever momentum you can, ride it through a game, and try and get a victory.
Oh, one big swing and a miss. Not a ton of home runs from Cincinnati this year, just 29, but mentioning some of the doubles, 104 doubles. They can put it in the gaps.
And McVeigh was hot over senior weekend against UCF. This is a guy that had a trio of doubles in 5 games and 4 walks, knows how to get on base.
Up and in, nearly caught him. Connor McVeigh, Jr. out of Mason, Ohio, and Mason High School. He was the National Hitter of the Week back on May 13th of 2014, a year ago. His redshirt sophomore year, he was all-district, 3-time on the conference honor roll a season ago. 1-2. And nearly got him on the inside, but he'll take it for a ball.
Poulin was walking off the hill, ready to head back to the third base dugout.
So that'll even it up at 2-2. Outfield, infield, straight up 2-2 offering. Leaves it outside. Now all of a sudden 3-2. He was a strike away from getting out of the inning. Now a full count.
McVeigh has reached base safely in 22 consecutive games. See if he can get Cincinnati on the board here.
So the 3-2. Comes inside. Slow roller over to the third. Jan with a pick up the first in time to retire the Bearcats in order. They'll get no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. So the Bearcats are retired in order here in the first. And for the first time this game, let's head down to the field to Haley Allen.
Well, guys, Cincinnati head coach Ty Neal didn't make the trip this week, stayed back in Cincinnati due to personal reasons, but the Bearcats are in good hands with assistant coach Ted Tom. Coach Tom is in his third season at Cincinnati and has quite a bit of experience on his resume. Tom was the head coach at Shawnee State for 6 years prior to this stop, winning 203 games and becoming the all-time winningest coach in program history. He was also named the 2010 American Mid-East Conference Coach of the Year, so missing head coach Ty Neal. Today we will see how the Bearcats respond.
Thank you very much, Haley. And the Bearcats trying to advance, trying to stay out of that 9 a.m. game tomorrow, get on to Thursday, get a day off, and let yourself recover. It's an advantage you've had, Garrett, if you've been that 1-4-5-8 team, to continually get days off, set yourself up for a Saturday-Sunday run. But now these teams, well, you make it a Sunday, you could potentially bring away your tournament starter back on Sunday.
Right, and that's been Houston's recipe the last 3 years. They've made the tournament title game. They have yet to lose a tournament opener. Came back and got the win against Memphis. Now 4 for 4 in tournament openers since the American began. I'm interested to see David Orndorff today, the 6'5 right-hander who is starting for the Cincinnati Bearcats. He's a junior out of Pasadena, California. Got pretty good numbers going up on the hill as well. Pretty good ERA for Metal Bats as well, 3.19. 5-4 on the season. This will be his 8th start of the year.
He's done whatever they have needed him to do at Cincinnati this year. As you mentioned, the 20 outings this year, 7 of those have been starts. He's coming out of the bullpen. He's registered 7 saves. They have had to do what they've had to do this year with some injuries to try and win these ball games. And so he has fit in very well, and a nice job by Orndorff this season.
10 appearances in conference play. He's 4-2 in the American with a 3.31 ERA. This will be his 5th start in a league appearance.
Let's take a look at what UConn is going to send up to the plate here against the Bearcats. And again, they're going to be led by Willie Yawn. Yawn, their leader, the junior third baseman, a .316 hitter with 10 doubles. But Isaac Feldstein solid as well in right field. He has 16 doubles on the season. He is the co-leader of Zach Susi with 39 RBI. And we are ready to go. We'll see the first pitch from Orndorff come inside and miss for a 1-0 count. John Toba, the left fielder, 49 appearances a season ago with 42 starts this year. .269, no homers, 9 driven in, 8 walks to 27 strikeouts. It's his 46th game. He's had 41 starts so far this season. So the 2-0 offering leaves it for a strike on the outer half. It'll make it 2-1. Infield, outfield, all straight up. They will not play in here, even with a 2-1 count. High fly ball into right center field. Taken by Bumpus in right field. Let's take a look at that Bearcat defense today. Orndorff on the mound, Thomas behind the plate, Noda at first, Mercer at second, Rodriguez at short, McVeigh at third, Santiago Thompson and Bumpus the outfield.
Well, this is one of the youngest teams in the NCAA in 2015. They've got a lot of starters back. We mentioned everybody back but one from their starting 9 last season. Really excited for them to come out here. The last 2 seasons, they have not been able to scratch out a victory. They've had some close games, but they haven't been able to be victorious in Clearwater since the early 2010s. Let's see if they can get it done here against a talented UConn club.
Talking about that defense, too. One of the best defenses in the league, fielding .983, only 37 errors on the year as they show bunt, as you see Anthony Prado at the plate, the shortstop. When you've seen back-to-back games, 2 of the best freshmen in the league, Alec Trello, the shortstop for Memphis, now Anthony Prado, the freshman shortstop for UConn. So they'll battle out the next 2 years as he's going to send a base hit into left field. Makes the wide turn at first. He's going to go for the double, and he's going to be safe in just ahead of the tag. So that will set the table with 1 out for the heart of the order.
Good thing that he was able to stretch this because Jim Penders puts the arms up. You see him waving there. He'll put the arms up and put the red light on him. He gets in just underneath this tag and has a 1-out double.
So a runner in scoring position quickly for the UConn Huskies, trying to get on the board first. Again, a scoreless game here just underway. Game 2 of this American Conference Championships, with Houston grabbing Game 1 over Memphis in dramatic fashion earlier this morning. And that pitch is going to be down and in. Of course, mentioned Cincinnati's defense being one of the best with just 37 errors. A little bit different for them, as well as Tulane. Both teams play on the field turf surfaces. They'll be on natural grass, of course, all week here in Clearwater. Orndorff ready. That one down and in, backhanded by Thomas. You've seen back-to-back games, too. Even though Houston got 3 stolen bases, Santana second in the league in throwing out runners. As you see this nice stop by Thomas on the nice backhand.
I mean, he set up on the outside part of the plate, too, and that one literally came in the third of the batter's box.
Thomas, number 1 in the league in throwing out runners. We'll see if he's able to control the running game today. 2-0 just off the plate. So the 1-out double by Prado with Susi at the plate, the catcher.
Prado now third on the team in doubles.
Susi, just a sophomore, but Garrett, one of the veterans on this ball club. Played a lot of games a season ago, but now all of a sudden he's thrust into that veteran role.
He started every game but one this season, and now he'll pop on.
So 2-1 with just 1 out, as the Huskies are threatening here in the bottom of the first. Isaac Feldstein at the plate. Ground ball. That's going to be foul at third. Started his collegiate career at Canada College in Redwood City, California. A year ago, played 34 games. He hit .305 with 11 doubles, 11 homers. He drove in 33, and in his first season with the Huskies, .258, 16 doubles. He leads the team. He's a co-leader with 39 RBIs with Susi. Check swing that time. He'll appeal down to first, and Brandon Cooper says no.
Could be wrong, but I think the college backdrop in California is a little bit different than Storrs, Connecticut. A little more rural up in Storrs, yeah, but still a great place and a great program to be a part of.
A little more chilly. Good recruiting job by Jim Penders and his crew. Doesn't hurt too. You're going in there and saying you're playing for the defending champion either. Was on the All-State academic team, first team All-League coming out of Kenyatta College in Redwood City, California. Bearcats could use a double play. They've turned 48 this season. That one drops low, and they're going to try to run to third in time on the wild pitch. So Prado, very good dirt ball read. Saw that was going to be on the dirt, kicked away from Thomas, and so now they've got a runner 90 feet away. Even a double play now, well, double play would still end it, but if you can get a ground ball on the right or left side, may have a chance.
This one down in the dirt, tough throw there. Not quite in time for Orndorff. Got to hit the spots a little more regularly. He's facing a guy in Feldstein who's got 14 multi-RBI games on the year. That leads this UConn club.
Ground ball up the middle toward short, should be 2. A 6-3 double play will end it, and that's what Orndorff and the Bearcats needed. So they'll stave off UConn here in the first. No runs ahead, no errors. They leave a pair, one man on. We played 1 inning from Clearwater, and there is no score.
For every hero, there is an origin story. An experience that made them who they are. For a new generation of explorers, pioneers, and innovators, that experience is calling, offering a different kind of education, one guided by distinguished professors who understand experience is the best teacher. Greatness lies beyond the classroom. This is where you start. University of Cincinnati. Do more.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
Wings it back over. Again, comfortable day. You never like to see really the cloud cover. You like sunny skies, but it is keeping the heat off of the field. I know the players, more importantly, the fans out of the stands, enjoying a little bit cooler weather here. It's hovered 82, 83, sitting at 84 right now. Should be really nice and cool. I was looking at the forecast for Thursday. Here's a line drive up the middle, and the Bearcats are going to take the lead early on A.J. Bumpus' RBI single, and he is going to go to second and throw to third, and they've got it out from Kruger's throw in center.
Regardless of the throw out at third, that RBI single puts Cincinnati in a good spot. They're 13-11 on the year. When they score first, they've got the lead here in the second inning.
Cincinnati seeing the ball well. That's the third hit. They've just kind of driven right back up the middle. So Mercer will score. Santiago banged out at third for the first out. Now double play would get you out of the inning. But Bumpus does go to second on that throw to third. So one away runner at second for Joey Thomas. Thomas, one of the best in the league, the best in the league at throwing out runners at the plate. 265, 11 doubles, 18 driven in this year. So A.J. Bumpus will come through for the Bearcats. Joey Thomas, a junior out of Mason, Ohio, and Mason High School. A couple of those Mason alum on this Bearcat ball club out of Ohio. Joey, a year ago, was on the honor roll one time, finished the season third on the team when he hit 264. He was a player of the week back in his freshman year when he hit 245 for Cincinnati. Joey Thomas ahead 1-0. Peaks back to second. They're going to peel off now. That one's going to come down and in, and Thomas starting ahead 2-0.
In the regular season, Thomas went 2 of 9 against Connecticut, had an RBI. Got a good opportunity with a man in scoring position and only one out.
Well, they're trying to elevate the pitch count from Poulin early in this ball game. Takes it upstairs. Poulin behind 3-0. Again, the winner of this game doesn't have to play until Thursday at 3 Eastern against the Houston Cougars. Whoever loses this game, another early wake-up call, 9 a.m. game against the Memphis Tigers tomorrow, and that will be an elimination game. .3-0 delivery now. And he'll take the strike, taking all the way.
Cincinnati with a pair of players on the all-conference teams. Ryan Noda and, of course, R.J. Thompson were both on the second team. UConn had 6 players across both teams, including 4 pitchers.
When you just didn't know what UConn would do this year, losing so much on offense, you knew they still had good pitching, frontline pitching. That one's fouled off, and that'll make its way into the bleachers. You just didn't know how they would do. Losing, we talked earlier about the Sundbergs and the Mellies. Well, they had so many great guys that you saw over the years for the UConn Huskies.
George Springer now starting every day for the Houston Astros, a big part of their success. I mean, to see George Springer, Mike Olt, and Matt Barnes all on the same team, and you throw Nick Ahmed in there, and just these guys just keep coming. I mean, to recruit to a stadium like J.O. Christian Field, I don't know how Jim does it.
3-2. Inside, and he walks him. It's first and second. So the only out they've made is to throw out Santiago, trying to go first to third. And here is Luke Torino, the freshman designated hitter under the Mendoza line right now at 199. But he's going to see some pitches here at first and second with one out. The good news for UConn and Jim Penders, and also for the softball and soccer programs, here in the near future, they've had the gift. I thought the Jim Penders up in stores earlier this year. They are getting close to that renovation for all 3 programs. They're actually going to move the soccer facility to where baseball, softball is now. Move softball, baseball across the street. And that street that divides the 2 facilities will become a pedestrian walkway. So they've got really huge plans up there in Storrs, Connecticut.
And that's something that they've done locally at USF. They took the new baseball stadium, the softball diamond, and they kind of closed in those 2 parks so you can catch a softball game while there's a baseball game going on. They've got an open plaza up on the top deck where you can walk in between. Just beautiful views all around, plenty of parking. Great place to take in a game. I think UConn's right on the money doing something like that with their facilities.
Well, as great as UConn has done, obviously, in men's and women's basketball, the first big program they had there was baseball. They've got 5 trips to Omaha, dating way back up in Connecticut. 1-0 now to Torino. Base hit here can make it a 2-0 Bearcat lead. There's a chopper foul at first, and that one almost kicked back fair onto the right side. That was just past the bag before it kicked fair.
That ball took a wicked hop and was just inches from being a fair ball and having bases loaded and possibly a run coming around to score, because I don't know if the right fielder's coming in on that one, which looked like such a foul ball to begin with.
If that kicks fair and 1 run scores, then you've got a feeling that it's Cincinnati's day, or early you get a bounce like that. Ted Tom's going to come out and talk to Harry Greer about it. Now he's going to walk down and talk to Brandon Cooper about it just to see what their feeling was. From up here, it looked like it was foul. It kicked into foul territory. Didn't move back fair until it got past the bag. I believe he's going to get the same explanation down at first that he got at home plate. 1-1 count. Kentwood Bumpus at second and Thomas down at first base. Get a really nice afternoon as far as the temperature. It's a little bit cloudy out here today, and again, that wind breezing out. That was an impressive thing with the wind blowing out to left field earlier today. 2 of the big home runs, Grudzalonics and then Padgett's, both going out to right field. Lefty-lefty matchup here as Poulin trying to get out of a little bit of a jam. Already 1 run in for the Bearcats. And unleashes a wild pitch. That's going to advance both runners. And all of a sudden, the Bearcats with the base hit here could take a 3-0 advantage.
Poulin's 6th wild pitch of the season. You see that one get away, and again, with those runners in scoring position and 1 out, this is a dangerous time with Torino at the plate.
They're not going to play in. It's still very early in the ballgame in the 2nd inning. But any kind of ground ball in the infield, and again, they're still playing back at first and third, so any ground ball may score a run. Here's a pop-up out of play to the left side. Again, Mercer, Santiago, and Bumpus, 3 consecutive singles back up the middle before the Thomas walk. The only out made was on the base hit by Bumpus when Santiago tried to go first to third. So 1 away, and with a wild pitch, that takes you out of a double play possibility. Now, Jim Penders is going to bring that infield in. A 2-2 offering. Called strike 3. Pulled the string on that one at 79 miles an hour.
Poulin was literally perfect there. 79 miles an hour on the breaking ball and just froze Torino at the plate. That's a part where you got to make contact, and he just wasn't able to do it.
Here's Manny Rodriguez, the junior shortstop, 248. Home run and 13 driven in on the year. Rodriguez out of Brooklyn, New York, in Calvert Hall High School. Outstanding player back at Calvert High School before he came in as a freshman in 2015. Here's a pop-up in a left field. Topa in the alley, backs up and makes the catch in the inning. So, despite 4 men reaching base, they only give up 1 run. Nice job of damage control by Poulin. 1 run on the 3 hits, no errors, 2 left on base.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is our backyard.
This is UConn.
That's a place to hang out today. I don't think they served breakfast this morning for the Nottingham game, but it's a place to hang out now that we're past noon here in Clearwater. The Tiki Hut, the Frenchie's Tiki Hut, can stay under the shade. You can sit out in the sun. Always a great place, and it's one of those places you come down here where you want to hit your home run.
Absolutely. Got some Cincinnati fans down in the bar stool areas there, and just a great place to take in the game, especially when their team's leading 1-0.
Orndorff now pitching with a 1-run lead. It'll be Jan Lefebvre and Nesda due up. And Willie Jan, kind of their leader now as a junior. And not kind of, he is the leader as the junior. But a very young team. Willie Jan. 316, 10 doubles, a home run, 21 driven in. Orndorff gave up a double and a walk. Got the 6-3 double play to get out of the jam. That was the 49th double play they've turned this year, the 19th. Only the 19th that UConn hit into this season. High fly ball in the center. Thompson backpedals the wind, carried on him a little bit, but makes the play.
That's not the first time we've seen that this afternoon. Just the wind's played havoc with some balls, whether they're in the air or on the line. And this is going to end up being a long, loud out, nothing more.
Designated hitter Alex Lefebvre, the senior, 259. 2 homers and 12 driven in.
UConn down near the bottom of the team batting averages in the American, 256 through May 15th. Good for 7th in the league. I'll tell you what, look at the way the teams USF and ECU and some others hit the ball. They can really tear it up. UConn is kind of a nice mix of pitching and offense.
Breaking ball and a foul into the mitt for a strike. Nasty pitch that time.
A lot of late movement on it.
No, one fouled off to the right side. Again, this is the first of 4 games to be played today. Tulane and UCF later on, then East Carolina, UCF the nightcap, and we've got 2 early games tomorrow. That'll be it in the bracket. Rolls it to Rodriguez, and there's quickly 2 down. Now, Orndorff retired the leadoff man both innings. And that'll bring up Tyler Nesda, the first baseman. Nesda was at first when that foul ball nearly kicked fair on him. Huskies in the background occupy the third base dugout. Cincinnati over at first. Cincinnati, good day if you're going to come to Florida and sport the black tops. Do it on the on the cloudy day. Got into that one, but that one is pulled foul as he hooks it into the grandstand.
Nesda, one of 4 seniors at the bottom of the order for Jim Penders. So 6, 7, 8, 9, all seniors to round out his lineup here today in the opener of the American Championships.
0-2 check swing. They're going to peel down to first. No swing. And didn't break the wrist. 1-2. And even though you're underclassmen, especially you take another look at this.
Good call.
Prado, a freshman at 281. Susie, a sophomore. Feldstein, Topel, your big hitters, underclassmen. It's nice to have that experience, even though the averages might not show it down at the bottom of the order. But Orndorff is going to get Nesda to end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. We played 2 innings, and the Bearcats leading the Huskies 1-0 on the American Digital Network.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
For every hero, there is an origin story. An experience that made them who they are. For a new generation of explorers, pioneers, and innovators, that experience is calling, offering a different kind of education, one guided by distinguished professors who understand experience is the best teacher. Greatness lies beyond the classroom. This is where you start. University of Cincinnati. Do more.
This is a classroom.
This
is a study break.
This is family.
This is our backyard.
This is UConn.
One nothing Bearcat lead as we move to the top half of the third here in Clearwater. I'm Jeff Private alongside Garrett Wolvert, and Bearcats getting on top first an inning ago. They sent the first 4 Cincinnati players on base. Hard hit ground ball. Jan knocks it down over to first, wide throw, but a nice recovery there by Nezda to apply the tag.
Thompson really smoked that ball down the left field line, but I'll tell you what, Willie Jan with the nice handle picks it up, gets it over to first base in time, and of course you got to have the little assist there by Nezda. Let's take a look. All on top of this ball, left out over the plate. Jan's throw is kind of up the line a little bit, pulls him off the bag, still makes contact.
Jim Penders has to be excited. Next year he's going to have Jan as a senior and then Prado, the shortstop, as a sophomore. He's really solid on the left side of that infield. Just continues a long lineage of really good players that Jim Penders has had. All you have to do at the UConn program, look back at their history and look at the amount of draft picks that he's put out over the seasons.
Well, specifically, they've had 4 first-round picks since 2010. That swing and a miss. There's only 9 other programs in the country that have done that. When you look at those blue bloods like LSU and Stanford and those kind of teams, it's almost as if UConn doesn't belong. But what they have done to develop players is just substantial.
A 1-1 from Poulin. Skips down low, and now Noda ahead in the count. Noda grounded to first back in the first inning. Out of Volo, Illinois in Grant High School. Again, Noda came into today at 243, 9 homers, 30 driven in. That ball is high. A year ago, started 56 games for the Bearcats. Hit 250, led the team with a .423 slugging percentage and drove in 34. His freshman year 2015, one of 2 players to start all 56 games for the Bearcats when he hit .230 that season. Hitters count at 3-1, and he's going to draw the 1-out walk. That'll be the second walk issued by Poulin. Noda with 9 stolen bases, so a chance here. Let's watch and see if Cincinnati is going to try to get that run game going. They move into the heart of the order. McVeigh, Mercer, and Santiago as McVeigh grounded out to third back in the first.
McVeigh hitting just under 280. He does have 13 doubles on the season.
Aggressive lead at first base. And right now, Cincinnati just going to be very, very patient. They've been able to raise the count a little bit here on P.J. Poulin early in this ball game. They're going to wait to see if he comes down to him. And right now, that's going to be the 35th pitch of the game for P.J. Poulin. Excuse me, it's now his 40th pitch. 2 1/3, 3 hits, a walk and 2 strikeouts, and he's thrown 40 pitches already in this game. On the inside, that one is ripped foul past third base.
Coming into the game, opponents hitting just 250 against Poulin, and he really chokes off all of the extra base hits. He's given up 7 doubles, 1 homer, no triples. Just not going to get a lot of extra bases against this young man.
Yeah, Poulin will love a double play to get out of the inning. UConn's turned 35. The Bearcats, they've only hit it at 21 this season. That one just misses inside, so a 2-1 count again. Ryan Noda getting very healthy leads at first base. We'll see if the junior first baseman takes off at any point. Again, 9 stolen bases on the year for Noda. Susi behind the plate, 14 of 72 on the year. There he goes on a hit and run as he drives it into left field, leaning in and diving, a tremendous play in left field. Topa comes away with it. They try to get the hit and run going. McVeigh hit it hard, but a nice play.
Topa had quite a ways to run on that one, but he's eventually able to track this one down. Nice swing, went down and got it, and that liner will end up in the glove of Topa, and they'll send the runner back to first base.
But that gets in the alley with Noda going. Cincinnati may have come away with a run, so that's a huge play out there in the outfield. That'll bring up Jace Mercer, the freshman second baseman, a .256 hitter with a homer, 22 driven in. Mercer flashed the bunt. Mercer's a guy, doesn't have big power numbers. He is a speedy guy, and that's kind of how they bounced him around in the lineup. Yes, we don't have the home run hitter in the middle of the order. We want this guy to kind of cause havoc early in the season. You'd see him come in as a pinch runner a couple of times, defensive type replacement, but his speed has really played out well for the Bearcats. 51st game, he's earned 45 starts now, including this one today.
That ball almost ended up in shallow right field, a one-hopper to the first baseman. Got to be a little more sharp by Zach Susi if you're going to throw down to first.
So Noda, the all-conference first baseman who drew the one-out walk, still standing at first now with 2 down. Pulled on, looks to first again. Again, what makes Mercer so hard in this situation, despite the power numbers, you put one in the hole at short or third, unable to make that turn at second, he's a very tough out to get at first base. Nearly had him that time, Noda jump, but there was no throw. Woo. Yeah, they tipped their cap just a little bit.
Well, Cincinnati's done a nice job of directing the attention of P.J. Poulin. Noda has certainly got his attention.
1-1, a base hit in the left field, and Noda's going to make the turn at second, but it'll slow up there. First and second, Mercer with a pair of hits already in this ball game, and the Bearcats threatened with 2 outs, and Eric Santiago singled an inning ago.
Sends this one over Jan's head, who was pulled in a little bit, but I think that's a single all the way, whether he's playing at his position or not. Now they're cooking with a little something here.
Just a quick word out there between Susi and Poulin as Harry Greer quickly gets out to break that up. Well, they'll look for a 2-out RBI by Eric Santiago, again, who singled an inning ago, was at first on the RBI single by Bumpus and was thrown out trying to stretch it over to third base.
Mercer, one of those talented freshmen playing for Coach Neal. They dot the starting lineup, him and Mercer, Luke Torino, Nathan Kroger, the pitcher is 3-0. Almost a throwback to second there. I mean, you've got a lot of freshman talent on this team that's worked their way into the starting lineup.
So Santiago, a .345 hitter with runners in scoring position. And another one of their freshmen, their left fielder, trying to make it a 2-0 Bearcat advantage, and that one's going to be a strike call to the outer half.
And it has been the case in this tournament over the years in Clearwater. When the wind blows out like it does, you've really got an advantage if you could put the ball in the air. Right now, it is screaming out through right center field, and anything hitting the air to left, you're going to have a little advantage.
Be heads up if I was at one of those bullpens today. Not just to get it loose, but not to get hit.
You would think Frenchie's would be a nice place for a couple of souvenirs. Of course, I don't know if anybody came away with the souvenir on the home run that Grayson hit against Memphis. That one maybe ended down on the field.
I took a sharp right turn once it grazed the fair pole.
Certainly
inside.
has to be the biggest home run of his young career.
Oh, yes. Like I said, unless something happens huge the rest of the term, which it probably will, but to me it's going to be hard. You're going to be hard-pressed to have a more clutch hit than he had off of that pole right there. Took a right turn, maybe have headed out to the parking lot. One had a pretty good view of it earlier today, a few booths down, looking right down that right field line. It started only about 2 feet fair, and it stayed just fair. So Santiago looking for just a base hit. He'll take the home run, but he'll look for the base hit, trying to make it a 2-0 lead. Swing and a miss. Now pulling a strike away from getting out of the third inning.
Yeah, that home run kind of erased a nice start by Bolin of Memphis. You take a look at the replay here. Right under the knees, swings through it on the outside part of the plate.
And mentally, it's one thing to lose the first game of a tournament than play an elimination game, but the way they lost, really going to have to get back up tomorrow in that elimination game. A 1-2. Check swing, little pill, and that is the strikeout. That will end the inning. Just wanted to make sure from Brandon Cooper. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. A pair left on. We go to the bottom of the third. Still 1-0 Cincinnati.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is our backyard.
This is UConn.
Always enjoy coming down here to Clearwater, Florida. The American Conference Tournament at Spectrum Field. It's the home of the Philadelphia Phillies for spring training. The Threshers during the regular season. Phillies, of course, the 1980 and the 2008 world champions. They have been great hosts, great facility. If you can get a neutral site facility for your conference tournament, it's always a bonus, Garrett, because that's left that coaches, players, staff have to worry about. A lot of colleges, the players are still the tarp crew. So that's one one place you don't have to worry about doing that and hanging around the ballpark. And if you're at a home stadium, I've heard coaches talk about it, you tell your players, don't come to the other games. Stay home and relax. But it's hard to keep them away from the ballpark to watch other games.
Absolutely. You're going to see your contemporaries. You might have played high school ball with these guys or travel ball with these guys.
And here's Aaron Hill, and on the first pitch of the bottom of the third, he's going to put himself on first base with a lead-off single, the second hit of the day for UConn.
Very aggressive. First pitch swinging. No better pitch to hit than that one, and he cleans it up into shallow left field.
Keith Kruger, the senior center fielder, 216, no homers, 12 driven in. Aaron Hill this year with 4 stolen bases. And then Thomas behind the plate for Cincinnati, 25 of 56 he's thrown out, so he's close to 50%. They'll throw to first, not in time. So you've got an opportunity to run, but you've got to be very careful here against Thomas behind the plate. Best in the league at throwing runners out. They will bring McVay in on the grass. They show bunt. That's going to be fair. That will advance the runner. The old 5-3 sacrifice will move Hill in the scoring position with 1 out as they flip it back to the top of the order and John Topa.
Well, here's what UConn does best. Manufacturing runs. They use the sacrifice, put the runner in scoring position. Now you have an opportunity at the top of the order with Topa, who's got some pop in his bat, maybe get some extra bases and tie this thing up.
Topa flew to right in the first inning. He's 0 for 1. came into the afternoon. 269, no homers, and 9 driven in. Again, that's that tying run at second with less than 2 outs. Topa, though, just a 179 hitter with runners in scoring position. The hit by Hill, just the second of this early game. Nice stop that time. And the tournament was not scheduled to start until later this afternoon, but due to forecast rain, that's why we've already had one game completed and this one. So these were going to be the 2 afternoon games tomorrow. But again, the last thing you want to do is back up ball games, especially trying to play a semifinal game on a Sunday morning into a championship, especially if you have to unbalance the brackets and have one team play a semifinal game into the championship. So one team has to play a doubleheader, the other team finished it off Saturday and got the rest. So I think it was a good call by the American Conference, their staff, and the head coaches. A hitter's count for Topa at 3-1. Left one into right center field. That's going to get down, and we're going to be tied. That's going to make it all the way into the alley. And it's going to be at least 2, and it's going to be an RBI double for John Topa, the sophomore left fielder, and we're tied at 1.
9th double of the year for Topa. I don't know if there's been any that are bigger than that one because he ties it up here in the conference tournament. Went down to get that one, and that ball just carried a long way into right center field. Gets all the way to the wall. You're not going to catch Aaron Hill. He came all the way around to score from second.
So now the go-ahead run in scoring position as Topa replaces Hill at second base. Anthony Prado, the shortstop, he doubled back in the first. Down and out. Now we're tied at 1. Prado this year, 286 or 266 with runners in scoring position. A 322 hitter with runners on base. And he sends another base hit back up the middle. Here comes Topa around the third. He's going to score. The throw will come in a second. Back-to-back RBI base hits for the UConn Huskies, and they grab a 2-1 lead.
Pretty impressive display by the shortstop there. Prado hits it right back up the middle, and Jim Penders was waving Topa around from third all the way. Again, Orndorff's doing a great job of keeping the pitches low. UConn's doing a better job of depositing them into center field. You can see a little bit of emotion there from Topa as well. They take the lead. These games mean everything to these guys.
Zach Susi, the catcher, walked in the first. Forced out on the 6-3 double play that Feldstein hit into. There goes the runner, and a high fly ball to right field. That's going to stay in the yard and in front of the track. Jumped off the bat, but died with that wind blowing out toward the left center field. 2 away. So still Prado at first for Isaac Feldstein, hit into that double play back in the first inning. He is 0 for 1. Came in at 258, 6 homers and 39 driven in. .250 hitter with 2 outs in an inning. They had put the runner in motion. They do again, and here's a high fly ball hit one to left field. Down toward the corner, long way to go, and that one's just going to be foul. Santiago saw the wall coming, hesitated just briefly, and Mark Ewell had the call down the third base line.
I'll tell you what, UConn's seeing Orndorff very well right now. That ball was hit pretty hard. Again, bounces foul by a couple of feet. Now a chance to reset. There are 2 outs in the inning. Orndorff just needs to continue throwing strikes and let that good defense behind him clean everything up.
Bearcats will have Bumpus, Thomas, Torino, 6, 7, 8 in the order due up in the top half of the 4th. Outfield shaded a little bit toward the left side, and Santiago deep and left. They'll throw over to first because Anthony Prado's been in motion the last last two pitches, the fly out by Susie and then the foul ball by Feldstein. Again, Prado coming into the game with 14 stolen bases. He's only been caught 4 times at Thomas, the best in the league at throwing out runners. So a neat little matchup here. Swing and a miss. Here comes the throw down to second. They'll sweep the tag, and they got him. 26th runner of the year that Thomas has thrown out on the 2-4 caught stealing to end the inning. Pair of runs, though, on 3 hits. No errors. Nobody left on base. The Huskies now lead it 2-1.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
For every hero, there is an origin story. An experience that made them who they are. For a new generation of explorers, pioneers, and innovators, that experience is calling. Offering a different kind of education. One guided by distinguished professors who understand experience is the best teacher. Greatness lies beyond the classroom. This is where you start. University of Cincinnati. Do more.
Been a good 3 innings so far. 2-1 Huskies here in Clearwater. Spectrum Field is the location yet again for the American Conference Baseball Tournament. So I'm Jeff Private alongside Garrett Wolvert, and the Bearcats will have Bumpus, Thomas, and Torino 6, 7, and 8 due up in the order as the left-hander A.J. Bumpus had the RBI single to give Cincinnati at that point the 1-0 advantage. So a 1-for-1 afternoon, up to 284 on the season. Lefty-lefty matchup. Little floater in the right field. That one's going to get over and fair. Well, it doesn't matter how hard you hit them. If you put them where the green is, it's all the same with the box score. So a second hit of the day for A.J. Bumpus.
Now 5 hits total for the Bearcats in the game. Lifts this one, and it's just going to die over the back end of the first baseman, Nesda.
And don't want to say that it wasn't hit hard because he hit that off the handle. You poke it that far off the handle, that's a hard hit ball. Joey Thomas walked back in the second inning. Bumpus this season, 5 of 10 of stolen bases. UConn trying to get the running game going a little bit. In the bottom of the third, let's see if Cincinnati does it now. A little bit tougher against the left-handed pitcher, but Bumpus getting a pretty aggressive lead out there. And a hit and run drives it up the middle, but this one's going to stay all the way to Kruger. So Thomas hits it hard by a line out to center, and there's one away. Well, there it goes, Garrett. That shows you. Softball off the handle gets in. The hard hit ball to center's an out.
You're 100% correct.
Right on cue.
I'm sure that felt good off the bat. Unfortunately, he's headed back to the dugout.
Luke Torino struck out looking in the second. That one's going to be just down and away. So again, Bumpus at first with the leadoff single. Represents the tying run for the Cincinnati Bearcats. He's bumping around over there at first. Will not draw the throw. There's a foul ball. Cincinnati's had some opportunities. They've left 4 men on base so far in the ballgame. Pair of those in scoring position. Actually, 3 in scoring position. Bumpus at third, Thomas at second in the second. Then they left Noda at second an inning ago. Back to first as Bumpus dives back in safely.
Torino, the left-hander, with a big hole on the first base side as they're holding his buddy on. See if he can take advantage.
Off speed, strike on the inner half. Dropped it down to 78.
Torino lets that one fall in. Takes a look at strike 2. Came into the tournament hitting under 200 on the year. But as is the case every year, coming to Clearwater is a fresh start.
Outside just to see if Bumpus may take off. 2-2. There'll be no pitch out here. Now we'll see if Bumpus wants to go again.
Poulin upped the ante on that one, a fastball right around 88 miles an hour.
Pitch count's really getting elevated at this point. This is going to be pitch number 57 for Poulin. Comes in, fouls it straight back. Again, dropped it down to 78 miles an hour. Staying off speed a lot here against Torino.
You touched on his numbers earlier. Bumpus put together a pretty good sophomore campaign. One of those guys that's got some power numbers and got good speed as well. See what they do here with one out.
2-2. He got him high. 2 away in the inning after the leadoff single by Bumpus. It's going to be up to Manny Rodriguez to keep it alive.
Take a look at the third strikeout of the game for Poulin. Went upstairs a little bit. I think he got just a piece of it with the bat, but that's all. And that's the third punch out of the game.
Manny Rodriguez through to center. Back in the second inning to end the inning. Rodriguez over 1. He came into the tournament 248, a home run, 13 runs batted in. Rodriguez now at 246 and a 315 hitter with runners on base. There he goes. And again, fouled off the right side 3 times. Bumpus has tried to take off. And whether it's a line out to center or a pair of foul balls, Bumpus still sits at first. He's been getting some big leads and some really good jumps, but has not been given the opportunity just to take the stolen base.
You think that was the hit and run, or you think Rodriguez was just protecting at the plate? Because he got a really good jump off first.
I think they were telling him he's in the dugout. You guys have to give Bumpus a chance. So Bumpus has done about 3 or 4 50-foot sprints so far in this ball game, all here in this inning. Ground ball in the hole at short. Long way to go. It's going to get through. Nice effort, but just skips under the glove after the dive. So first and second, and now R.J. Thompson has a chance to tie the game.
Well, Manny Rodriguez works himself deep into this count, waits for his pitch, and crushes it in between short and third. Nice diving effort there by Prado. Just can't catch up to it in time.
Well, another 2-out hit could tie this thing up, and it's R.J. Thompson. He's over 2. He struck out looking in the first. He would ground to third in the third inning. 349, 4 homers, 27 runs batted in. Even on walks to strikeouts this year, 29 of each. Off to the right side, and it's 0-1. Now over 60 pitches. So they're doing what they want to get. They're getting pulling into some high pitch counts, not going after it too early. He's really working the pitch count here on their sophomore left-hander. Again, comes into the game, 18 outings, only 4 starts, just 31 2/3 of an inning pitch. So we'll see how far they want to stretch him out here this afternoon. Foul it back again, 0-2.
R.J. Thompson, one of 2 all-conference selections this year for Cincinnati. You'll remember year 1 with Ty Neal. He had 3 all-conference selections, Player of the Year and Ian Happ. And then Justin Glass and Matt Williams, a couple of speedy characters that could also make damage on the base pass. But, you know, this year, trying to get it done as the 6th seed against UConn.
Doesn't seem like it was that long ago, and it wasn't. The Ian Hatt was of Cincinnati. He made the fast track all the way to the big leagues.
Yep.
0-2. Here's the throw down to third. They've got him by a mile. So both Susie and Thomas showing off the arms. That's the 15th runner this year that Susie has thrown out. And it'll be a 2-5 caught stealing to end the inning. So no runs, 2 hits, no errors, a runner left on base. Still a 2-1 UConn lead. And this UConn team lost a lot of experience on offense. They are a very young team. But more on that, let's go down to Haley.
Well, UConn enters this year's championship as the defending titleist from last year. This team that you see on the field here today looks a heck of a lot different than the team you saw out here last year. In fact, at times this season, we've seen 3 freshmen playing in the infield. And you see Anthony Prado, the shortstop, out there. Today he had the RBI single to give UConn the lead. The catcher is a sophomore. The outfield has a sophomore. The only true contributor from last year's team is third baseman and junior Willie Yon. And while we don't see him out there today, he should get a start at some point this week. The rookie pitcher of the year, Mason Fiel. He was the 2nd straight UConn player to take home these honors last year. It was Tim Cate. So, speaking of youth, just a sophomore, he was a first-team all-conference selection this year. The future is bright for a team that was victorious right here on this very field at last year's championship in Clearwater.
It was a great run for the Huskies a season ago, coming out and then knocking off the Houston Cougars in the championship.
Since this tournament has come to Clearwater since 2006, Jim Penders has qualified for 5 tournament title games. They won it all in 2013 and then again last year. Whole lot of success on this diamond.
4 conference tournament championships for Jim Penders.
Yeah, it's got to feel good. You know, that's a guy who played for UConn, graduated in '94. You know, he's got it in his blood. His father, his uncle, Jim Penders. I mean, they were guys that played on the World Series teams in the 60s for UConn. It's in the blood.
Isaac Feldstein grounded in that double play back of the first. He was at the plate when they threw out Prado. And inning ago. So both the bottom of the 3rd and the top of the 4th, you end up with runners being thrown out to end the innings. Comes inside and will miss. 1-0 count here on Feldstein to get 0 for 1. 257, 333 when he leads an inning off. Just a bit up that time. Again, 4, 5, and 6. Feldstein, Jan, and Lefebvre. Nesda, if anyone sets the table. 3-1 on the 3-0 strike. Sun's starting to peek out a little bit here in Clearwater. Big swing and a miss. Took a home run cut.
Feldstein hitting .315 in his last 15 games. 5 doubles, a triple, 3 home runs, and 15 RBIs.
3-2. Hangs in there on the foul ball.
Still has another season of eligibility, but, you know, it's nice to see a guy come to a program. He's leading them in slugging. He's up there in on-base percentage, OPS, in doubles. I mean, this is a guy who's got a bright future. 2018.
Off speed, got to pop it up out of play behind home plate.
Started off the morning about 78 degrees and overcast. The sun peeking out from behind the clouds. Now we're up to 85 degrees as we pass 2 o'clock Eastern. Still 2 more games on tap.
3-2 again and again. Feldstein stays alive. Look out over our camera people. That looked like it may have made it into the well over there by Haley. It looks like everyone's okay, though, from up here. I want the good view. Oh, here comes a foul ball at my face. No one's fouled off again. He's staying alive. That's about the 4th straight foul ball he's had. Full count will do it again. Here to Isaac Feldstein. Grounds it to the left side. It's McVeigh over. He'll cut off Rodriguez. Goes the first in time. There's 1 out. Willie Yon's over when he flew out to center in the second inning.
That's twice now that Feldstein is grounded out to the left side of the infield. He'll trot back to the dugout. Still just one out in the inning.
Get a run in the second for the Bearcats, 2 in the third for the Huskies. Opening day of the conference championships here in Clearwater, Florida at Spectrum Field. I'll speed up and in again. One game complete from earlier today. It was the Houston Cougars rallying with 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th to knock off the Memphis Tigers 6-5. Memphis Tigers wait for the loser of this game tomorrow at 9. Houston waiting for the winner Thursday. It'll be an afternoon game at 3 Eastern, 2 Central. A strike call on the inside.
First couple of weeks of the season, Jan was not in the lineup, had a broken left hand. He has overcome that to become the team leader in batting average and a host of other categories.
2-1 up and in. Now a hitter's count to Jan.
Has 17 multi-hit games on the season.
Ground ball foul, 3-2. It's all full. And again, that'll send some of our staff scattering. Full count, fouled off to the right side. Three-two, grounded through the left side. That'll be a one-out single for Willie Yon.
Jan went out and got this one. Orndorff kind of left it out over the fat part of the plate, and now runner on with only one out.
Alex Lefebvre grounded a short. You know, we've seen some hits already in this game, Garrett. 11 hits between the two teams, but only 3 runs. That's credit really to the starting pitchers. So you can get away with giving up some hits if you're not giving up the freebies, and that's what they've eliminated a lot so far. We've seen a wild pitch here or there, but for the most part, not a high number of walks or hit batters so far in the ball game. So they've been able to get away with it. Here's a hard hit ball to center field. That'll send Thompson back. On the run, that's going to get over his head and off the wall. They're going to wave Jan around, and there'll be no relay. Big RBI double by Alex Lefebvre.
All you have to do is look at the flags out in right center and know that that was bound to happen. The wind is screaming out of here through the outfield, and that one got over the head of R.J. Thompson. Boy, he put this ball on a line and drilled it. Almost came in at first, and then Thompson's got to try and track it down. It one hops the wall, stays in, and UConn and Jan will score all the way from first base.
A 3-1 Husky lead. As Alex Lefebvre with the RBI double will draw a meeting from Thomas out to the mound to talk to Orndorff. Tyler Nesda's over when he struck out back in the second.
Little action in the Cincinnati bullpen. That's J.T. Perez, number 28, a junior lefty who's gotten up to warm.
J.T. Perez this year, he's had 16 outings. 12 of those have been starts where he's 2-6, a 4.52 earned run average. UConn, a little movement in the bullpen as well as Tristan Hammonds, a junior right-hander now throwing. Hammonds for the Huskies. And again, Perez for the Bearcats. 0-1 count.
This is a pretty closely contested series between the two teams. UConn leads at 20-12. Somehow they did not meet each other until 2006 when Cincinnati joined the Big East.
Oh, 0-1.
Since the formation of the American Conference, these two teams have not met in the league tournament.
Chopper to short. Play goes to first, and there's 2 away as LaFave will jog over to third base. Aaron Hill, the second baseman, 1 for 1. Singleton scored an inning ago. Of course, they play once a year. The Pirates of East Carolina and UConn, the mirror opponents, play 6 times. That's going to go away after next year with the addition of Wichita State. You'll play everyone once. You'll roll right through it.
That's an incredible pickup for this conference. I mean, to bring in another school like an ECU, a Tulane, a Houston that values baseball and puts money into their program. Just incredible to bring in a national champion, a team with a Hall of Fame head coach, and to bring in multiple College World Series appearances. All you're going to do is make your conference better.
0-1. Program that's, well, as you mentioned, won a national title under Gene Stevenson. 0-1 offering. Off speed, swing and a miss. Now 0-2, a strike away from getting out of the inning.
I had a chance to meet Gene Stevenson in 2015 in Omaha at the College World Series. We were in the media dining room. I just sit and talk to him about baseball for 45 minutes. He had nothing else to do. He was just up there to talk to people, and that's where he wanted to be. Time called.
Went into his motion. 0-2 to Aaron Hill. Ken Singleton scored an inning ago. Righty-righty matchup. Down and away on the waste pitch.
Right now it's a 2-run deficit. Orndorff can do himself a favor, get out of this inning. He's 1 strike away. Strand that runner on third base. Keep this game competitive. If you let Aaron Hill come through here, things could get ugly.
Yeah, he's already over 60 pitches already in the bottom of the 4th inning. So your pitch count already getting elevated. Actually, for Poland and Orndorff, that's why you see a reliever for each team in the bullpen already. Down and out. 2-2. Throw back to third. Not in time. Trying to catch LaFave, maybe napping a little bit on the jog back to third base.
Well, he stunted down to home. I think he thought the ball got away further from Thomas than it did, and he had to dive back in with some authority. You see that ball literally gets 2 feet away from him, and the dive back in just in time.
Comes up and in and will miss.
88 miles an hour on the inside fastball by Orndorff.
Here's the pitch off the handle, hanging in there, 3-2. Off speed. Inside, just missed, and he walked. So that's going to put runners at first and third now for the Huskies and Keith Kruger, who had a sack bunt an inning ago.
If I'm Cincinnati, I might call time and send the pitching coach out here just to maybe settle down David Orndorff, and I think that's what they're going to do. They've called time, and they're bringing the coach out now. Just a very important part of the ball game. Runners on the corners and 2 outs. You'd have liked to have gotten out of the inning there. Instead, with the sun beating down on you, you got to face the bottom of the order.
Well, there's no doubt with UConn's strength this year, even though their offense has played well despite being young, his strength for Jim Penders is going to be that bullpen. So a 3 or a 4-run lead for Jim Penders early in the ball game, pretty solid. And we're not even talking about having to get to John Russell yet, who's got 14 saves on the year. He's got plenty of that bullpen to bridge himself, again, if he can get a 2 or a 3-run lead. Already got the 2-run lead if he can expand it to 3 or 4. So it started on with a ground out to third. Yawn single. Lefebvre doubled. Nestor grounded out and Hill would walk. They could put Hill in motion. He's got 4 stolen bases. Not sure if he'll draw the throw from Thomas if he takes off to second. Down and out and behind the count already at 2-0. So now Kruger can sit on a fastball.
Kruger's had 2 very good years for UConn after coming over from Grossmont Junior College. Had a JUCO batting average of .343. He's appeared in 100 games for the Huskies now.
2-0. Swing and a miss. Trying to pull Atwood.
Kruger actually broke a bone in his wrist in 2016. Fully healthy this year.
Two-one delivery. Foul straight back off to the left. Evens it up at 2-2 against Cincinnati coming in. Will have to win this tournament to advance to any postseason play. UConn looking pretty good, depending on what RPI service you look at. They're right around 40, some above 40, some just outside of 40. I think a win or two here helps their case. A win or two here, I think, should do it for them.
What also helps their case, they're always in the discussion.
Popped it up. Shot on left field. Could be trouble. No, it's going to carry with that wind. Looked like it was going to be trouble, but sometime the wind helps you. Sometime like that, it does not. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and a pair left on base. We talked earlier today about the former Player of the Year in the American Conference, Cincinnati's own Ian Happ. With more on the former Player of the Year is Haley.
Well, there's a whole lot of baseball going on here today at the American Baseball Championship with 4 games on the slate, but there's also some action going on in the MLB. Cincinnati fans should be done here in time to catch one of the Bearcats' all-time favorites in Ian Happ. Ian was selected by the Chicago Cubs a couple of years ago, the 9th overall pick in the MLB draft, and he got called up to the big leagues recently. A couple weeks ago, he got his first hit on May 13th. That one was a home run. And then his first game in Wrigley, another home run for Happ. So a pretty good start for him in the bigs. The Cubs take on the Giants tonight in Chicago. So Cincinnati fans will have to decide between tuning into that and possibly scouting some future competition between UCF and East Carolina over on CBS Sports Network.
Thanks a lot, and I'd be curious to see. I've not had a chance to see Ian since he's made it up, but it's such a small, powerful package. The guy was so tiny, and then, hey, there goes one over to the scoreboard. There goes another one off a Fifth Third arena. A lot of power.
You know, he got drafted 9th overall, first-round pick. Before that, you have any thoughts on the highest drafted Cincinnati player ever? I'll give you a hint. Boston Red Sox. Kevin Youkilis.
Oh, yeah.
Youkilis went in the 8th round back in the day, and you know, he's one of the few guys that's had their numbers retired. But when you take a look at that Cincinnati program, you know, you've had a lot of players and even some Hall of Fame coaches that have made a difference for the Bearcats. Most notably, Miller Huggins, the former New York Yankees manager, Babe Ruth's manager. Miller Huggins was a manager at Cincinnati. And you think about a pitcher pretty good in his prime, only spent 1 year at Cincinnati. How about Sandy Koufax?
That's pretty good stuff. I'm glad you got the Miller Huggins in there. Everyone remembers McCartney and, of course, Casey Stengel. But Miller Huggins is the one who managed the Murderers Row, the great teams of Gehrig and Ruth and all those guys back in the 20s and the early 30s.
So Cincinnati's got some great baseball history. I think their best days could be ahead, too. They got a beautiful ballpark at Marge Schott. I've done games there in the past. It's a great place to play. You've got that entire Cincinnati athletic complex right there on campus, all pushed together. It's a great place to be.
They've done an outstanding job, not only with the baseball stadium, the football stadium. Now Fifth Third's about to get a massive renovation.
And, I mean, that's an incredible basketball program that they got there. I mean, at one point in time in the 50s and 60s, they went to 5 straight Final Fours. They've got national championships, obviously got quality head coaches, and it's just fun to be a part of that program.
Here in Clearwater, we're moving to the 5th inning, a 3-1 UConn lead. Cincinnati threatened an inning ago, but came up empty-handed. Now at the top of the order due up, though, Thompson, Noda, and McVeigh. We talked a little bit about Orndorff's count getting elevated. You got to remember that Poulin's also at 64 pitches. He's in a little bit better shape, especially pitching with a 3-1 lead. We've had action for both teams in the pen early in this ball game.
Nepiarski warming for UConn.
Strike call on the slider now, a 2-1 count.
So the loser of this game is really kind of behind the 8 ball, right? They've got to play Memphis at 9 a.m.,
Yep.
8 Central tomorrow morning.
The one, I don't know if it's an advantage to call it an advantage or not, but both teams from the Eastern time zone, so it is 9 o'clock to them. It'll be 8 o'clock to the Memphis Tigers. It was 8 o'clock to the Houston Cougars earlier today as well. And you could tell, even though there were home runs in the first inning, once we settled into that third inning, you could tell, okay, maybe the internal clock's playing a little bit on them. Then once it got to be about 10 Eastern, when those guys would usually, wake up at 8 or 9 on their body clocks, then things started really rolling.
As Memphis's radio guy, do you have thoughts on who they might start tomorrow? I know you have a couple of arms to choose from.
Could go to Colton Hathcock. Could see Alex Hicks. I believe it's going to be one of those two. We saw Connor Alexander, who's been a dual role. A lot of dual role guys from Memphis. So we saw Connor. We saw Crosby. Had the Memphis Tigers won that game, I think you could have seen Crosby come back Thursday. But my guess would be Hicks or Hathcock, who was on the Stopper of the Year list. And then just kind of shake things up a little bit. He's gone into a starter's role a couple weeks ago. Went 7 solid innings. So Thompson is aboard to lead off the 5th. Cincinnati has set the table. Let's see what they do in the 5th inning as Noda 0 for 1 with the walk. Takes a strike down and in. Todd Whitting's got to be happy. His team rallied today, has that momentum, and now moving up to Tuesday as a high seed, the number 2 seed out of that bracket, has things set up well because if they win Thursday, they get Friday off as well. It could set up for a really good Sunday game if the high seeds come through without losing a game. You got a chance to really put your best foot forward on the mound on Sunday afternoon. But a lot of baseball to be played before we get into that situation, especially some of these other seeds I think can make a big run. We've talked about how the American looks good for potentially 4 at-larges.
That happened for them 2 years ago.
Yeah, but what if a 5 through 8 seed comes through this tournament? I mean, you could have over half your league end up in the NCAA. Here's the 0-2. Now in laced foul at first base.
I know JT Perez was warming in the pen and is doing so now, but I mean, that's a guy that's got 13 starts on the year. You could have Andrew Zellner. If things don't go Cincinnati's way and they're fighting for their life tomorrow morning, you've got a couple of quality arms that can try and get you a win.
I'd be very leery if Zellner pitches tomorrow. He is good.
And he's really gotten back to full strength the last couple of weeks, too.
0-2 is going to be outside. And again, whoever wins that game tomorrow in the elimination game, Memphis and then either Cincinnati or UConn, with the way it's been restructured due to the potential rain, they're not playing till Friday. They get the off day. Right-hander is set. It's going to be up. It's going to be, I believe, Tristan Hammonds now out there. It is for the Huskies after he walked the first. Thompson. And actually looks like they did a uniform switch. It's Rakowski. Yeah, Rakowski, 45, the sophomore right-hander for the Huskies, and he retires that man. There's one away, so Noda goes down.
Nice precision pitching there. Really reared back, blew it by him.
20 outings all out of the bullpen. 1-1, a 4.57 ERA, 21 2/3 of an inning, 23 hits, 12 runs, 11 earned, 13 walks, 16 strikeouts. 284 average against 6 wild pitches, only hit 1 batter this season. Slider down and away, falls behind of the count. So Rakowski has 1 on, 1 out. Here at the top half of the 5th. So they got 4 innings out of their starter today. Four innings, 6 hits, 1 run. It was earned. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. They got Poulin's pitch count up to 63 today and 37 for strikes. Get a bit of a spot start for Poulin. He's seen some starting action this year, but it has been used in a dual role. 1-0, and there's a well-hit ball in the left center field. That one's going to get in the alley, and that one's going to be off the top of the wall as it rattles around. They're going to wave Thompson around. Here comes the relay to the plate, and it's not in time, and it gets away, and that's going to allow McVeigh to go to third. So it's going to be an RBI double for McVeigh. Thompson will score, and he will go to third on the throwing error to home plate.
Take a look at the replay here. Just crushes this ball into left center field. It's going to go all the way to the top of the wall, stays in, probably about 2 feet shy of that yellow line that determines home run or something that stays in the ballpark. Scoring from first, and they've cut this down to a 1-run lead. Huge piece of hitting for the Bearcats, and they've got a runner on third.
Well, the error, that's going to allow McVeigh to come in. If Mercer can just get a fly ball. Looks like going to draw the infield a little bit. Now Prado and Hill go back. But now you're not asking Mercer to do anything too big. Fly ball, get a ground ball up the middle and get this thing tied up.
You know, whether he pulls something into right field or maybe lifts it into left, that should be enough to score the run from third the way the wind's blowing.
And he does it. That'll be in the left center field. Should be deep enough because the momentum going backwards for Kruger, and they'll tie the game up on the sacrifice to center field. So a 2-run fifth for the Cincinnati Bearcats. Nobody onto a way down, but they've done what they needed to do. Put 2 on the board and tied it up at 3.
Amazing how quickly the face of a game can change. A walk to Thompson, RBI double by McVeigh. Now the sac fly for Mercer, and we are all knotted up at 3.
Eric Santiago is 1 for 2, singled. And the second, he ended up being thrown out at third later in the inning on a base hit by Bumpus. Then he struck out in the third. Strike call of the outer half, 0-1. One pitch skips in the dirt. So a 3-3 game midway through this contest, as the Huskies go to the bullpen and Cincinnati takes advantage of it. Started off with a freebie, as they always seem to do, the leadoff walk. Swing and a miss, thought to throw him out at first. That will end the inning, but not before the Bearcats get 2 runs on 1 hit. There were no errors, or there was 1 error, and nobody left on base. We're halfway through the game, tied at 3.
For every hero, there is an origin story. An experience that made them who they are. For a new generation of explorers, pioneers, and innovators, that experience is calling. Offering a different kind of education, one guided by distinguished professors who understand experience as the best teacher. Greatness lies beyond the classroom. This is where you start. University of Cincinnati. Do more.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is our backyard.
This is UConn.
Cincinnati headed to the bullpen as well here in the 5th after the Bearcats put 2 on the board in the top half of the inning to tie the ball game up. Orndorff is done, and here comes J.T. Perez.
J.T. Perez, hard-throwing left-hander, comes into the game. He's appeared in 5 American games this year as a starter and has gone 4 1/3 or longer in every one of those starts. As a reliever, he got in against UCF twice and then on the road at Houston to finish out the regular season. He's got some pretty good stuff. We're interested to see now that the game's face has changed. We're tied up at 3 apiece. What will he do to try and limit the UConn Huskies?
Comes the Tulane Green Wave as they get set up for their ball game. They've been out on the auxiliary fields over here at the spring training complex. They'll face the 4-seed USF. Before tonight, it'll be ECU and UCF, but it's going to be a lot of green in the stands here for the next game.
If you have not seen Hunter Williams in person, he is worth the price of admission. Just a big body, a guy that can yoke a ball, drive it out of the ballpark, drive it into the gaps. I mean, there is a reason that he was one of the contenders for Player of the Year.
Orndorff today, 4 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned, 2 walks, and he struck out 1. He ended up at 70 pitches and 41 for strikes. JT Perez will take over. And he, just like Rakowski, will face the top of the order. Topa, Prado, and Susi. Topa 1 for 2, had the RBI double in the 3rd. First pitch will be a strike on the outer half as he slings it in there at 87 miles an hour. JT 6'4", 215. And there again, and he's got so much torque with that long lever, that big body at 77. The prior pitch was 87. Didn't look like it just by the effort. Usually you see these smaller guys have to rear back and chunk it. But his long frame at 90 miles an hour just makes it look effortless.
I mean, he's got the body of a small forward, kind of like an oversized point guard. I mean, he's big for baseball.
On the inner half, swing and a miss, struck him out. So 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. That'll bring up Anthony Prado's having a good game, 2 for 2 with an RBI.
Topa today strikes out there. He had that RBI double back in the 3rd, just 1 for 3.
Perez, the left-hander. Strike, Anthony's. As a broadcaster, I'm sure you're like me. Here's a bunt, first base side, and it's unoccupied. And a big mental mistake. Perez flipped the first, and nobody was there. And that is going to put Prado at second base. Noda came in. Mercer was trying to get over there, and Perez's head was down. He came up to flip, and nobody home.
He's lucky Mercer was on his horse and went and tracked this down. Let's see what happened. I think you're right. I think the head was down. He made the assumption and almost hits the base runner. He'll take off for second, and Mercer's got to go track that down, or he might end up on third.
So that could be a very big play in this ball game, especially if Prado comes around to score, because you're about to get into 3, 4, and 5 in the order.
It's not often that you chalk up an error to a pitcher. You know, you just give them the benefit of the doubt. If anything comes their way, you know, they just had to throw a pitch, but you got to put an error on him there.
Down and away, will miss. Well, he was cruising along so well to strike out the Topa and was in a good rhythm against Prado. We'll see if this affects him at all. Down and away again. Now he's staying away at 2-0, and he's got the lefty-lefty matchup. I was about to say, as a broadcaster, I liked him because he had a very quick rhythm. Wasn't wasting a lot of time. Things will slow down now with a man at second base and just 1 out. Just misses again, and now he's staying away from Susi.
Susi's done a nice job. He's been molded in one of the most consistent hitters for the Huskies this year. 39 RBIs after just 21 in his freshman season. And he's done a good job of delivering in the clutch. Several go-ahead hits after the 7th inning.
Goes after the 3-0, grounds it to second. And there's 2 away, so they green light him on 3-0. That will advance Prado over to third. 2 outs now. Isaac Feldstein has a chance for a 2-out RBI. So a strikeout, an error, and a ground out results in Prado at third with 2 away. Jim Penner's always wearing the old school high striped socks. I love them.
Well, you know, you look at Jim, he's a teacher You know, he's not in this to make millions of dollars. He's in it to affect the lives of young men, and that's why his program has been so successful. He's got 4 guys in the major leagues right now, and I don't continue to harp on it, but, you know, to have J.O. Christian Field with all its history and tradition at the same time, you know, you're talking about a 1,500-seat bandbox, you know, with a double-wide trailer on top of the stands. You know, what he has done is incredible.
Line drive to right center field. That's going to give UConn the lead. That's going to get in the alley for Feldstein. Feldstein's going to jog into second base with the RBI double.
First hit of the ball game for Feldstein, and he ripped that one. That's got to feel good. He hit into a double play in the first, grounded out in the fourth, crushes this thing opposite field, and it's going to go a long way. I think at the end of the play, he actually came up limping a little bit. He's standing on second now.
He jogged in there, as you can see, and then jumps on the bag and calls timeout immediately. I don't know if he's just trying to time out the jump on the bag or if he may have kind of tweaked an ankle or something coming around first. He doesn't call for any of the medical staff or anything. I think in hindsight, he was timing up the jump onto the bag. That'll be a bit low to Willie Yon. Yon 1 for 2. So I'll give the Huskies a 4-3 lead here in the bottom of the 5th. Willie Yon, 316, homer, 21 driven in. Again, 40th RBI of the year for Feldstein.
If you're JT Perez out there on the hill, you know, you've got to continue to throw strikes. Quit thinking about that throwing error at first and the runner who just came around to score on that mistake. You've got to go focus on Willie Yon, an all-conference player.
Well, both teams go to the bullpen, and both offenses immediately hit the relievers. 2 runs for the Bearcats at the top of the inning and a run here at the bottom of the inning for the Huskies. We talked about Tulane and USF coming into the building, and USF, what a year they've had. They got out to that hot start, and you're thinking, okay, it's a nice start. We'll see, you know, now it's getting into the middle of the season. There's a high chopper to third, picked up by McVeigh over to first, and that will end the inning. Not before they get 1 run on 1 hit. There was an error, 1 left on base. So we move to the 6th inning. Huskies up 4-3 on the American Digital Network.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
For every hero, there is an origin story. An experience that made them who they are. For a new generation of explorers, pioneers, and innovators, that experience is calling, offering a different kind of education, one guided by distinguished professors who understand experience is the best teacher. Greatness lies beyond the classroom. This is where you start. University of Cincinnati. Do more.
Sun's starting to peek out, and the place to be will be under that giant tiki hut in left field. Or if you're looking to get a suntan, get outside. Tulane trying to stay in the shade prior to their game today. And they will have the next game. The Green Wave and the USF Bulls waiting for game number 3. They were going to be game number 1 of the tournament. They're now game number 3. They're going to try to play at 3:30. That's not going to start on time, but they'll be okay. They're the 4-5 game in this one. USF, the 4 seed, Tulane, the 5 seed. And as I was saying, Garrett, before we went to break, USF this year got out to that hot start, and you're thinking that's a great start for them. I think they're going to be okay this year. We get about a third in the way of the season, see what happens now. Okay, they're still playing really well, and there was never a tail off. They just kept winning and winning at an extremely high rate this year.
And that 19-game winning streak caught everybody's attention. They jumped up into the top 25, and that's right around where they are right now coming into this tournament. UConn with the new player in the ballgame, Sam Nepiarski, number 37, hard-throwing right-hander, will come into the ball game for UConn. Nepiarski, a redshirt junior, 6'4", 207 out of Orange, Connecticut. And he is ready to get things going here against Cincinnati. After his team went back up on top. This has been a contentious affair in terms of the scoring. Cincinnati with the lead in the second, gave it back, took it back in the fifth, and tied the ball game up, and then Connecticut went back on top in the last frame.
Rukowski today, 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Nepiarski, the right-hander. First pitch on the way, going to be fastball up and out here as we see Bumpus, Thomas, and Trino scheduled here in the 6th inning. Bumpus with a pair of hits. He's 2 for 2.
Nepiarski has a sub-2 ERA, 1-0 on the year with 11 appearances, all but 1 in relief.
Swing and a miss, came down and in, tipped it into the mid. One delivery, swing and a miss. Drop that down to 80 miles an hour. So changing speeds early on A.J. Bumpus. Just caught him low that time. Well, the potential of the day off now for this bracket. You saw it in the Memphis-Houston game. You're already seeing it in the UConn-Cincinnati game. Called strike 3 on the inside. There's one away. You're seeing all the coaches do what they have to do to try to win. A little bit more aggressive on their moves today than maybe they would be if they knew both teams would play tomorrow. Knowing that day off, you can throw a guy for some relief, and he's going to come back in the very next game if you're able to get the win.
And that's made for better ball games as well. Great way to start this tournament with games that you literally can't turn the channel on.
Joey Thomas is 0 for 1. Walked in the second inning, lined out to center on a well-hit ball in the fourth. Up and out will miss. Outfield plays straight up. Infield is normal. Gets to pop it up into center field. Wynn's going to carry it back, but not enough. As Kruger will make the catch. Quickly 2 away for Nepiarski, the new reliever for the UConn Huskies. That'll bring up Luke Torino. He struck out twice looking in the second, went down swinging in the fourth. Comes the first pitch of the left-hander, went after one high, swings right through it.
Well, that one well above the letters, went after it anyway. Now behind in the count. Believe he was pot committed. Just going to swing at the first offering and couldn't catch up with it.
One delivery. From Nepiarski. Just missed on that pitch. Not by much, 2-1.
UConn has number 15, Ryan Radu, up in the bullpen. Radu's a great story. This young man has had to battle cancer in his late teens, early 20s, and is back playing for Coach Jim Penders.
2-1 high and out, 3-1. Hitters count, nobody on and 2 down. Three-one offering, popped it up left side.
A lot of wind to contend with.
They're going to give way to Tope. He'll make the play to end the inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Nepiarski. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Still a 4-3 Husky lead.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is our backyard.
This is UConn.
Now we showed you the green wave. There are the Bulls out to that great start this year, and they finished up well also, as they are one of the 4 teams that are in really good shape for the at-large.
Boy, they've got some great out-of-conference wins, too. They beat the University of Florida. They beat Florida State. First time they've beaten both those programs in the same year since 1989. Really have come a long way under Coach Kingston.
New facilities as well. I mean, they're not brand new, but they're new within the last decade. They did a tremendous job. As she talked about those facilities a little bit earlier, they share that concourse with the softball team, and we know the prowess of their softball program down there as well. So both teams able to share that area of land right across from the Sun Zone, who had an incredible transformation as well. First pitch on the way is down and in.
Well, you take a look at the USF footprint. You know, I was there 10 years ago working their radio stuff. Brand new soccer facility, brand new track facility, brand new football practice fields, baseball and softball stadiums, and 2 practice facilities for the basketball programs. I mean, we need to talk to somebody about fundraising because USF's doing it.
1-1 coming up. Rolled it over to first base off the handle. Picked up by Noda. There's one out as LaFave will go down to the ground out to first base. Tyler Nesdo for 2, a strikeout and a ground out.
A little bit late on that pitch, just kind of capped it off the end of the bat, I think, and that's a easy pickup there by Noda.
Get a 4-3 Husky lead here in the bottom half of the 6th.
Well, you take a look at Nesda and maybe squint a little bit. He looks an awful lot like Joe DeRoche Duffin. Same body types, both those guys with a little prowess at the plate, trying to make their names known here in Clearwater.
That's going to be a strike on the outs. That's the other player I was trying to remember today when I was talking about Sundberg and Melly was DeRoche Duffin. Those are 3 guys. You see them out on the street. They're just big guys, but then they get that stick in their hand. Doesn't matter. They can rake. Two and one here to Nesda. And again, Aaron Hill on deck. Chopper to third. Picked up on the hop by McVeigh in time, and there's 2 down.
That's a really pretty play at the hot corner there by McVeigh. You just have to put yourself in position, hope the ball bounces into your glove, and it certainly did. Picks this one up on the run, got it out of his glove quickly.
Aaron Hill has been on twice. Singleton scored in the 3rd. He would walk in the 4th. Wide up by the left-hander. Comes in on Hill for a strike. Again, we start the tournament tomorrow. We get at 9 Eastern. Memphis versus whoever loses in this game. Then game 6 of the tournament scheduled for noon against the losers of Tulane USF and East Carolina UCF. And we're hoping to stay ahead of the weather and get both of those games in tomorrow. Then there'll be a little bit of a gap in the tournament. Let that front come on through tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night into early Thursday morning. We'll pick the tournament back up on Thursday at 3 Eastern against Houston and the winner of this contest. Outside on the waste pitch there. Wasn't even trying to fool him there. Just chunked it way off the plate to Aaron Hill.
UConn hoping to make their 5th tournament appearance under Jim Penders. Since 2010, they've made 4 trips, including a super regional berth in 2011. Also in 13 and last year.
1-2, fouled off right side, out of play.
There's a souvenir.
And correct me if I'm wrong, one of those years they actually had to go on the road to the regional as a #1 seed. It may have been prior to 2011.
I think that's 2011. The year prior in 2010 when they had Matt Barnes and George Springer and Mike Olt, they actually hosted the tournament up in the Northeast, and it had been quite some time since the NCAA had brought a regional up there.
2-2 to Aaron Hill.
That was up in Norwich, Connecticut. I believe it's a AA facility that they have up there. Great turnout. Just couldn't come away with the regional championship.
2-2 delivery. Check swing. They're going to make an appeal down to first, and it's a no-go. 3-2, full count. Perez on the way. Swing and a miss. Struck him out through the change at 81.
Wow.
No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Played 6 full innings, still a 4-3 Husky lead.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
For every hero, there is an origin story. An experience that made them who they are. For a new generation of explorers, pioneers, and innovators, that experience is calling. Offering a different kind of education, one guided by distinguished professors who understand experience is the best teacher. Greatness lies beyond the classroom. This is where you start. University of Cincinnati. Do more.
Join the week off from work as a lot of these fans make their way down, whether they're just fans of the school or parents, friends, and family. A chance to not only enjoy the baseball championships, but also Clearwater, or if you're staying over at Clearwater Beach, nice place to go for a tournament. And I think we're all happy that the American has decided to stay here, down here in Clearwater, Florida. I know the coaches and the players love it.
Well, I used to live in the area. Some of the country's best beaches right here. Honeymoon Island, Caladesi Island, you know, always in the top 15, top 20 of America's beaches. There's US 19 running north to south just past our ballpark, and makes me nostalgic thinking back to a couple of home runs that have landed out on that old strip. A couple of balls that just flew out of right field here at this old ballpark.
We go to the 7th inning, still a 4-3 Husky lead. 9-1-2, Rodriguez, Thompson, and Noda. Even though it's a one-run game now you're getting to the back half of this game, and outs become very valuable, both teams, and especially more valuable for Cincinnati. 9 outs to use here to try to make up a run. Rodriguez 1 for 2. He flew to center in the second. He would single in the fourth and was stranded there. 1-0, big swing and a miss. Now 1-1. So Nepiarski had a 1-2-3 inning in the 6th when he came in. He stays out the throw in the 7th. Wind up, fouled it off.
Just the 3rd appearance in American play this year for Nepiarski. Got in against East Carolina and at UCF, both in relief.
Misses down and away now, 2-2 count.
Most of the damage that he did came against non-conference opponents. He did have 3 innings of relief against Quinnipiac in mid-April. That's his longest appearance of the year.
Popped him up to the right side. Has Nesda turned around. He'll give way to Aaron Hill, who makes the catch. It's one of those wind-blown balls right there as Nesda looks straight up thinking this will be the easy catch in foul territory, and it blew back on him. Fortunately, Hill was where he needed to be.
Makes the play in shallow right field, and that's 4 set down in a row by Nepiarski.
Back to the top of the order. Since the RBI double by McVeigh, that's the 6th straight set down by UConn relievers. And as you just mentioned, Garrett, 4 in a row retired by Nepiarski. Who's R.J. Thompson, who's over 2 with a walk. Fouled it straight back, and he's down to the count.
Getting a little late in the ball game here. Cincinnati really needs to try and manufacture some runs, and that can start with the top of the order in the all-conference selection. R.J. Thompson just needs to stare in at Nepiarski, find his pitch.
0-1, popped him up. Nesda again looking for it. Hill coming over, the wind blowing it this time. Nesda able to kind of run around in a circle with the wind and pick it up.
He just about did a do-si-do. I mean, the wind is playing havoc with the ball out there. For him to be in foul territory and then come in like he does, quality of him to get the catch in that first baseman's mitt.
Well, wasn't too far away from where he started. But a couple of pop-ups over on the right side of the infield. There's 2 up and 2 down, and here is Ryan Noda. 0 for 2 with a walk back in the 3rd inning. Pitch will miss on the outer half. Comes a 1-0 delivery. Swing and a miss. Brought that down to 79 miles an hour.
We mentioned that the majority of the appearances for Nepiarski have come in non-conference play, but he's been very successful at limiting the extra base hit. Only 2 doubles and 2 home runs given up in 20-plus innings pitched this year. Opponents hitting just .233 against him.
1-1. Tipped into the glove, and now Nepiarski a strike away from retiring all 6 Bearcats that he's faced. If they retire Noda, it's the heart of the order to open the 8th. McVeigh, Mercer, and Santiago. Huskies have 9-1 and 2 due up in the bottom half of this inning. And a 1-2 is low. And get a reminder that those 2 games tomorrow, the one in the morning, the one at noon, both back here on the American Digital Network. So we'll be happy to talk to you again tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, we'll be here through Saturday. 2-2. Down low. It's always great to have the home crew here. Scott Railing and his staff make the trip for this conference tournament. It's great to have those guys. Full count at 3-2.
Saturday, there's a chance for 4 games. We'll see 2 for sure and a couple of if necessary games. And then the championship on Sunday will be broadcast on ESPN News. That's, of course, if weather doesn't impact us like it has in years past. But I think they made the right move, like you said earlier.
3-2, got him. So he's retired all 6 Bearcats. Nepiarski has that he's faced since coming in. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. 7th inning stretch here in Clearwater, and it's a 4-3 UConn advantage.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is our backyard.
This is UConn.
Making sure everyone's safe here in Clearwater up on the lifeguard seats. She talked about Some of the best beaches in the country and some of the best restaurants, places to hang out as well. Some of the Bearcat fans, hey, waving, taking some pictures at us up here in the booth.
I don't know if they're going to be in the Baywatch remake that's coming out later this summer. Might have to go watch that one. I'm a big fan of slow motion running.
I'll say this, it was probably underrated, but the Chips remake was pretty good.
Have not seen that one. Did Eric Estrada find a way to get into that one? He's in it, of course he is.
I don't want to spoil it for you, but yes.
I might not see that one.
Here we go, bottom of the 7th inning. And it's a 4-3 Husky lead as Keith Kruger showed bunt there, pulls it back. It's going to be a strike. He's 0 for 1, a sack bunt, and a fly out to left. Fly ball to left field. That's got some movement with the wind. Santiago is playing deep, though, and there's one away. So Perez staying out in relief. John Topa is 1 for 3, and an RBI double in the 3rd.
Topa was all conference in this tournament last season. Really hit a nice stretch. In the final 20 games, he hit .320.
Ground ball at short off the heel of the glove, and Rodriguez can't come up with it. That took a hop right off the palm. And it will be an E6, the second error of the game on the Bearcats.
Take a closer look here. Just a couple of hops, and that one ran right up his arm. That's tough for Rodriguez. That's his 4th error of the season.
Well, they had the error by Perez 2 innings ago when he underhanded the ball at first when no one was there. That ended up costing him. That came with 1 out. We'll see if they can get away with a 1-out error in this inning. Again, if they can keep it a 1-run game, they've got the heart of the order. McVeigh, Mercer, and Santiago due up in the top half of the 8th. But they have to keep it here. They don't have to, but it would be beneficial to keep it a 1-run game. Perez looks over to first. Now comes to the plate. Ground ball to third through the legs. They're going to go for third. Here's a throw from Santiago. Not in time, and the other runner goes to second base. All of a sudden, second and third with 1 out on the E5. Back-to-back errors are costly.
And now 3 in the ball game, right between the wickets, and both runners aggressively move up an extra bag. UConn's cooking.
UConn gets a base hit from Souza. They can really open this game up. They potentially can make it a 6-3 lead. And then they would be looking for 6 more outs. The infield drawn in for the Bearcats. Now the heart of the order. Well, they have set the table for the heart of the order. Second and third, 1 down. Remember, Kruger flew to left, and now you've got Topa at third and Prado at second. Fly ball gets you a run. And there it is. I don't know if that's going to be deep enough. Racing into Santiago, and it will be too shallow. So nice hustle by Santiago, and there's 2 away. And now, all of a sudden, the Bearcats an out away from getting out of what could have been a big inning for the Huskies. Isaac Feldstein, though, is 1 for 3. Did have an RBI double the last time he came to the plate in the 5th.
Probably the right call by Jim Penders, keeping Topa locked up at third, not forcing the throw there. Could have potentially run yourself out of the inning. Instead, now you get Feldstein, who's got good power numbers, good on-base percentage, coming to the plate. And a chance with both in scoring position. You know, I think they'll walk him.
Yep.
Why not? Well, he's right up top on the box.
Waiting for a mistake. Willie Yawn should be coming to the plate, but 2 outs and the base is loaded. Well, we've seen it time to time. You got to be aware in case a ball gets loose or they actually lob one over. Tell you what, Garrett, I don't know if you've heard. I'm sure you have. Some levels of pro baseball, not the big leaguers yet. Some of the lower levels of pro baseball are now talking about ways to speed up the game, and they are flirting with the idea of just saying intentional pass and let a guy. And I know most of the time it's just going to be 4 pitches in 30 seconds. But we've seen wild pitches, balls get away. We've seen some people accidentally lob it over the plate, and guys belt home runs. I'm for throwing the ball.
I'm not one of those guys that hates the designated hitter, but boy, I do love the tradition of baseball. And if you're going to walk somebody, I'd like for you to put 4 pitches on your resume. I really would. You know, for the casual fan that wants a faster game, I don't know what to tell you. But, you know, intentional passes and you just basically point at first base, that's not up my alley. We'll have a pinch runner come into the ball game for the Huskies.
It's going to be Chris Winkle, a freshman, will run at first base for Feldstein. One of my big ideas is number one, limiting the catcher's visits to the mound throughout a game. And another one of mine is we have the pitch clock, of course, in college baseball, where that pitch clock goes off when runners get on, and that's when the game gets long. I'd say keep the pitch clock going. Now, I know the argument's going to be if I'm a runner, I can keep an eye on that clock and time out when I want to take off. Bases loaded, 2 away for Willie Yon. Yon gets it to one to left field. That one's going to go back all the way, and that one is gone. A grand slam. Willie Yon to left field. That's going to be just his 2nd homer of the year. Now sitting with 25 RBI.
JT Perez with his hands on his hips in disbelief. First pitch swinging for Willie Yon, and it's gone.
Yeah, that busts this game wide open.
Perez had only given up 5 home runs all season. And that one's out of here with some distance. Well, the captain comes through for UConn and gives him a 5-run cushion. I think Jim Penders feels a little more comfortable now. UConn in 1-run games this year was just 10-8. Got to feel better about it now.
Foul that one off. So Willie Yon knew there was nowhere to put him, and he crushed it. Fouled it right side out of play. Now 1-2.
Now you can kind of make some decisions if you're Coach Penders with a 5-run lead. Nepiarski's gone 6 for 6. You know, do you want to keep that talent fresh and maybe put in somebody else? Or do you let Nepiarski close out another inning or 2? Depends on how you want to set yourself up for the tournament.
Outside, 2-2. If you bring Nepiarski out, the one thing you have, if Cincinnati does make a run, you still got John Russell in your back pocket with 14 saves. Swing and a miss. Tagged him out. That'll end the inning. Not before the damage is done, though. 4 runs, 1 hit. The 2 errors are costly, and nobody left on base. We're headed to the 8th. The Huskies have opened up an 8-3 lead on the American Digital Network.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
For every hero, there is an origin story. An experience that made them who they are. For a new generation of explorers, pioneers, and innovators, that experience is calling. Offering a different kind of education. One guided by distinguished professors who understand experience is the best teacher. Greatness lies beyond the classroom. This is where you start. University of Cincinnati. Do more.
After a 1-run game, it was Willie Yon with a 2-out grand slam to open this game up.
Have a day, Willie Yon. 2 for 4, 4 RBIs. That's the first grand slam of the year for Connecticut and the second of Yon's career.
Big time for Willie Yon to do it. Opens this ball game up, and now all of a sudden, the Huskies looking for 6 more outs, and they get the day off. They will not play again until Thursday if Cincinnati doesn't rally. If they don't rally, it's Memphis and Cincinnati tomorrow at 9 a.m., and then it would be Houston and UConn Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 Central.
Well, Connecticut doing what they do best. They have the second most wins in this tournament since 2014. They're 7-5 under Coach Penders in postseason play. They won last year to get things started against Memphis.
First pitch on the way. It's the heart of the order. Cincinnati's going to make a run. They got to produce something this inning because it may be the last time through the heart of the order for the Bearcats. McVeigh, Mercer, and Santiago. McVeigh had an RBI double in the 5th. He's 1 for 3. 0-1, excuse me. Fouled off to the right side.
McVeigh, Mercer, and Santiago all have singles or all have hits in today's ball game, highlighted by McVeigh, that big RBI double you mentioned. Just got to put runners on base now.
0-2. Just missed on the outer half. Didn't waste it by much, but couldn't get McVeigh to chase after it. One, 2 offering. Did he go? Yep. 7 in a row retired by Nepiarski since he came in to start the 6th.
That's his 3rd strikeout. And he went around on it, brought the barrel past his body. They'll ring him up. Huskies looking like a confident team, trying to go deep into this tournament.
First pitch fouled off by Mercer. Mercer's had a good game, 2 for 2 with a RBI on that sacrifice in the 5th. Singled and scored in the 2nd. He singled in the 3rd, or in the 2nd, excuse me. So singles in the 1st and 2nd, sac fly in the 5th. Wind up, skips in the dirt. Again, the Bulls and the Green Wave will play next year in Clearwater at Spectrum Field. Pitch on the way, well hit ball, but it rolls right to Hill. Over to first. Tell you what, we talked about the 4 teams that have a really good chance at an at-large. Here's Eric Santiago coming up of the bottom 5 seeds. Tulane, to me, can be scary. They've had some big wins this year. They've struggled maybe for that consistency, but on any given day, any given week, they could catch a hot streak. It's a team with some guys and experience have been to the regionals the last couple of seasons. No telling what they could do, even if they don't win the tournament, could spoil someone's week.
Right, they were in the NCAAs in 2015. When you look at the top of the conference, you had the top 5 teams all within 2 games of each other. I mean, there is a lot of parity in this conference. And, you know, when you look at Tulane and the wins that they've had in the postseason in the last couple of years, you just got to like their chances.
And I would be leery. Maybe the most dangerous 8 seed we've seen in a long time, East Carolina. Came off that super regional performance last year, preseason top 10, and they just got banged with a huge rash, injury after injury. But enough talent on that team to maybe put something together this week. That's an 8 seed. Like I said, maybe the most dangerous 8 seed I've ever seen. Called strike 3 on the outside. That's 9 straight retired by Nepiarski. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. Still an 8-3 Husky lead on the American Digital Network.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is our backyard.
This is UConn.
Going to get busier and busier as the week goes along. Of course, these early games on Tuesday and Wednesday, a lot of your fans will make their way down Thursday for a long Memorial Day weekend, but Frenchies will be the place to be once we get here this weekend. Clayton and Colvin, a sophomore right-hander, now coming in for the Cincinnati Bearcats, trying to keep this thing an 8-3 game, and they've got to keep it there if they're going to have any chance of Bumpus, Thomas, and Torino coming to the plate in the night. Meanwhile, the Huskies are going to send 7, 8, 9. Nesda, Hill, and Kruger do up here in the bottom half of the 8th. Again, the big hit of the game, Willie Ons, 2-out grand slam, and inning ago to give the Huskies that 5-run lead.
Colvin, 6'4", 198 pounds. He's a sophomore out of Dublin, Ohio. He is making his 9th appearance. 3 of them have been starts. ERA is above 6. He's 0-1 on the year. In 18 2/3 innings pitched, he's given up 19 hits, 13 runs. All were earned. Walked 9. And struck out 8. Opponents hitting under 280 against him. He needs to come in and throw strikes and put his team back at the plate for the 9th inning.
8-3 UConn here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And again, the Huskies will be looking for 3 more outs once they get to the 9th. Colvin trying to hold it here. So we'll start it off with Tyler Nesda. Nesda over 3, a strikeout, a pair of ground outs, 1 to short and 1 to third. Troy Stefanski is going to come in. Looks like they switched the first pitch to Stefanski is up top. Again, they ran for Feldstein an inning ago. Now the defensive replacement and the pinch hitter is Stefanski.
Gotten into a lot of games, 48 on the season, hitting .230, 26 hits and 113 at bats, 6 doubles and a triple.
1-1 on Stefanski. Takes it just at the letters. 4-ball, 2-1. Outfield straight up, infield normal depth as well. That'll miss again. Three, 1, hitters count. Stefanski's going to draw the leadoff walk. That'll bring up Aaron Hill, 1 for 2 with a walk today. He's been on twice. Stefanski just a pair of stolen bases in 3 attempts. Say they want to play a little small ball, get him in a scoring position, try to tack on another run. Never know in conference tournaments, they can be crazy. We saw it earlier this morning. Things were looking good for the Memphis Tigers going up 5-2, going to the bottom of the 8th. Then all of a sudden they find themselves down 6-5 with just 3 outs to go. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Yeah, at the letters, he did flash bunt that time. He'll pull it back.
Hill listed at 5'9", 190. 1 for 2 today with a walk. Came in hitting just 169. Trying to move Stefanski over.
Popped it up. Behind home plate. That one is going to stay just in play. A long way to go for Thomas. And to be honest, I think probably thought that was going out of play, and the wind just pushed it back in. Would have been a tough play regardless.
All the beautiful light standards here have huge seabird nests. There's an osprey just above us carrying a fish. I mean, welcome to Clearwater, guys.
Time to eat. It's dinner time.
Must have plucked that out of a pond.
1-2. Comes inside, throw back down to first, not in time.
7, 8, 9 hitters today, still looking for their first hit of the ball game for UConn.
Here's a pitch on the inside. Runner goes, throw down to second, and it hits the runner. So it'll be a stolen base for Stefanski.
Thomas had to contend with the body of Hill as he pops up to throw out the runner. Take a look. Doesn't get out of his way, and that one will one hop into the runner. Little too far towards the first base side.
It's funny, we were talking about Joe DeRoche Duffin. I just checked my Twitter. Linda Duffin. Sending in us pictures.
I blame you.
No, it's great. Joe DeRoche Duffin has shed 40 pounds. Dude is jacked. Take a look at that.
God bless him.
I'll try to get it to our graphics guy before the weekend's out. Wow.
I remember Joe with the game-winning hit 2 seasons ago, and I was interviewing him down on the sidelines and got doused with a bucket of Gatorade. I mean, it made for a great shot.
Unfortunately, he was hit in the jaw last week, she says, by a fastball during spring training.
Oh, no.
But Linda is watching out in California on the American Digital Network. So we thank you very much. And thanks for the updates, Linda. And our best to Joe after being hit by that pitch as Cincinnati is going to go to the bullpen here. So the Huskies with a pair on with nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. They'll make a switch. We'll take a break. 8-3 Huskies on the American Digital Network.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
For every hero, there is an origin story. An experience that made them who they are. For a new generation of explorers, pioneers, and innovators, that experience is calling. Offering a different kind of education. One guided by distinguished professors who understand experience is the best teacher. Greatness lies beyond the classroom. This is where you start. University of Cincinnati. Do more.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is our backyard.
This is UConn.
Moving along here, Cincinnati headed to the bullpen, and they're going to bring in Olaz, the reliever. And again, another reliever, A.J. Olaz, a junior left-hander for the Cincinnati Bearcats, trying to keep it where it is right now.
Olaz, 6'1", 195 pounds, a junior out of West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. You take a look at his numbers. He's made 11 appearances, and 10 of them have been starts. So this is just his second relief offering of the year. 2 wins, 1 loss, and a 5.02 ERA in 37 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 32 hits, 21 earned runs, and struck out 17. Opponents hitting .227 against him.
And the first one, a bunt attempt. First and second. Nobody out.
Interesting to bring a guy with so much starting experience into a game here. His only relief appearance of the year came against, guess who? UConn.
Lefty-lefty matchup. Squares the bunt again, up and in. Backs him off now, 1-1.
Olaz threw an inning and 2/3 of relief on April 29th. Hitless, scoreless. Did give up a walk.
Just got out of the way. Charging out the corners. Pitch down and away. Now Kruger works ahead of the count. Try to bunt again, and now it's going to be down and away. He'll take the walk. So they've walked the bases loaded between the two relievers. Last time the bases were loaded, you know what happened. Willie Yawn had the grand slam to left field an inning ago. Now it's the top of the order to John Topa. Topa today is 1 for 4, an RBI double, also reached on an error. Inning ago, remember, it was back-to-back errors that set the table. An intentional walk to the grand slam. And the pitch and a high fly ball. This one will stay in the yard. It's going to be deep enough to score a run. Well, I said it's deep, going to stay in the yard, but that thing carried and ended up being caught on the track up against the wall by Thompson. But it'll be a long sac fly to center field for Topa. An RBI as Stefanski comes home to score. Hill and Kruger were both able to tag up. It was so deep. So it's second and third with one away, and now a 9-3 Husky lead.
Second RBI of the day for Topa. Really got into that ball, and it carried with the wind blowing out through center field. All three players, like Jeff said, able to advance on the sac fly.
The infield drawn in with Anthony Prado. He's been on 4 times, 2 for 4. Double, RBI single, reached on the air by the pitcher, reached on the air by McVeigh, the third baseman. That one down and away. Get enough for a called strike, though. 0-1 pitch. That one pulled foul into the stands. Get a nice afternoon at Spectrum Field in Clearwater. Really nice afternoon for the Huskies and their fans. Huskies leading at 9-3 in the bottom of the 8th. 2-1-1 out. 1-2 pitch. Reaches out, drives it down to the right field corner. That's going to clear the bases. He's going to be on his way to second, if not third. Bumpus just getting to it. He's going to race around the bag, and he's going to be on third with a 2-run triple. Prado has been on 5 times today. 3 hits. He's reached twice on air. Third triple for Prado. And Prado is second and third RBIs of the afternoon. Now has 29 on the season.
Really adjusted well to that ball. Saw the big gap in right field, went with it, put it all the way in the corner, and just zoomed into third base with 2 RBIs in his back pocket.
Zach Susi. Now you're in the heart of the order. Susi, the 3-spot hitter.
It's been the extra base hits that have done in Cincinnati these last 2 innings. The grand slam by Yawn in the 7th, 2 RBI triple here.
Line drive, snagged it first. They're coming home, and he did not apply the tag in time. Thomas Late bringing the tag around, so Prado's going to score.
An RBI on the fielder's choice. Zach Susi legs that one out in the throw. I thought it was in time. The tag not quite applied in time.
Well, now we're up against something here. The 10-run rule in effect for all tournament games. If UConn gets another run, if Susi scores, this ball game's over. And this game changed quickly, Garrett. You're looking last inning at a 1-run game, 4-3, but then the grand slam opens it up. 4 more runs this inning. Check swing, he did go around. 0-2.
It's got to be tough looking up on that scoreboard for Cincinnati. 4 runs in the 7th, 4 runs in the 8th, and everything about this game is upside down.
So barring a major rally, it'll be Cincinnati and Memphis tomorrow at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. And the dirt, that one nearly got away. And again, you've got Willie Yon on deck as Winkle is set. Winkle came in to run, remember, an inning ago for Feldstein. It's funny, he came in to run at first base. All he had to do was jog once the grand slam was hit.
Cincinnati would face Memphis tomorrow, who they won the regular season series against.
Won that last series.
Yep, they're also successful against USF after the K there. Took the series against USF, so those two teams know each other very well. Would expect to be a very competitive game to get us started tomorrow morning.
Memphis won their first series against Cincinnati. Here's the strikeout. Nice pitch in the Darren Schoenrock era. Remember, we played in 04, 05. Then the team split up for a while, came back in the American, and finally won that series in Cincinnati. Interesting story I'll tell you here later. Here's a fly ball in the center field. It's going to be caught to end the inning. That's the way it always happens.
2 out stories.
Another 4-run inning. They did it on one hit. Yeah, they left the man on. 12-3 UConn.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
For every hero, there is an origin story. An experience that made them who they are. For a new generation of explorers, pioneers, and innovators, that experience is calling, offering a different kind of education, one guided by distinguished professors who understand experience is the best teacher. Greatness lies beyond the classroom. This is where you start. University of Cincinnati. Do more.
That's how it's gone today. We had a really good one there through the first 6 innings with UConn leading at 4-3. You see the grand slam in the 7th for the Huskies. The big 4-run inning in the 8th as they open it up 12-3. Those 2 of those 3 errors were big before that grand slam. Nebiarski going to stay out. 9 up, 9 down for Nebiarski today.
He's been very good. If he gets an out, that'll give him a new season high in terms of his longest appearance of the year. He is working a hitless, scoreless relief outing here. He's gone 3 separate scoreless relief outings, and in his last 8 appearances, he has yet to allow a run.
The Bulls ready to go, and so are the Green Wave USF. That's what they're going to look like today in the old white caps and the green tops. That'll be on CBS Sports Network. We'll be back tomorrow morning, and then we'll have all the games through the championship. That'll be on ESPN News, so you can join us here on the American Digital Network. We'd be glad to have you. Here is Bumpus. 0-1. Stay tuned post game as Haley Ott will have our player and our coach in the post game to talk things over. Bet she'll be with a happy, I'm going to guess Willie Yawn's going to be my guess with the old grand slam that broke this game open. 0-2 now. But Cincinnati and Memphis tomorrow at 9 a.m. Jonathan Bowen, who pitched today, had a no-hitter going into the 8th. A little ball fell in. They ended up falling in that game. So either Cincinnati feels they have Memphis' number or Memphis will be looking for a little revenge. Both teams trying to stave off elimination tomorrow. They split the season series 3-3. Those were the mirror teams. So it'll be the 7th time they've faced each other this season. Then UConn is going to get Houston on Thursday. There's a foul ball off the handle.
Well, that's the interesting thing about Memphis. You know, I mean, they've done a great job of staving off elimination. They average better than 2 wins in this tournament the last 3 years, and they have yet to win their conference opener, yet they have always logged at least 2 wins. So under Coach Darren Schoenrock, they've shown a lot of backbone. Expect their best effort tomorrow morning, bright and early.
They've never played less than 3 games in a conference tournament under Darren Schoenrock. Now, some of those are pool games when the old pool play, but They've never had a 2-Q in tournament play under Darren Schoenrock. Trying to keep that trend alive tomorrow. And as you mentioned, Cincinnati looking for that big conference tournament win tomorrow. Trying to break their streak. The 2-2 to Bumpus. Tipped it in the glove for the strikeout. 10 up, 10 down for Nepiarski.
9 strikeouts in the ball game. 5 of them belong to Nepiarski now in the last 3+ innings of relief.
Of course, you and Jeff Sharon will have that call tomorrow here on the American Digital. 12-3 Huskies here looking for 2 more outs.
We'll see how weather impacts everything. I don't know the hourly forecast tomorrow, but I know that at some point during the day, the heavens are going to come down.
From what I've heard, they're pretty confident on that 9 a.m. game. And then we'll just see what happens from noon on out.
Go find one of those comfortable chairs downstairs and just read media guides while we're in a break.
0-1.
Up in the pen for Connecticut. Dandino.
Popped it up. Looks like it's going to get out of play, but the wind blows it back, and it will not. And that time, Nesda did a nice job. He saw it happen to Cincinnati an inning before the ball got blown back in. And this time, there's 2 down. Play scrimmage rules tomorrow. Everybody starts with a 1-1 count. So the Bearcats down to the final out here. Mason Deanna will pinch hit for Torino. But again, the action starts at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. First pitch down and in. Then the second game tomorrow, approximately noon Eastern, 11 Central. We'll have the losers of Tulane USF and whoever falls in the East Carolina UCF game. So a couple elimination games tomorrow for you here in Clearwater. The 1-0. That one fouled off to the right side. The winner of Memphis-Cincinnati gets the day off Thursday. The winner of the second game gets the day off as well. They'll play Friday in the next set of elimination games. Strike at the knees. So now the Bearcats down to the final strike.
Same format as the old College World Series. Double elimination until you get to the championship game, and then it's winner take all. Got a chance for the teams that get in the winner's bracket to get their fans down here in numbers. They'll have a day off to travel.
1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. 12 up, 12 down in relief for Nepiarski. Struck out 6. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. So, the Huskies win it. It'll be 3 runs, 7 hits, 3 errors for the Bearcats. 12 runs, 13 hits, 1 error for the Huskies today, as the Huskies improved to 32-23. The Bearcats 28-29. Cincinnati playing in the morning, and the Huskies get the day off. We're not done here. We'll have the player of the game and the coach coming your way momentarily on the American Digital Network.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is our backyard.
This is UConn.
Welcome back to Clearwater, Florida, where the Huskies take a 12-3 win in Game 1, and they will advance in the winner's bracket. Standing by, the head coach, Jim Penders with Haley.
first win for your team in the tournament. Now, schedule got a little bit adjusted this week, but your team had to play a day early and a little earlier than expected. How did you get your team ready to go for today?
Well, we weren't crazy about it, but it had to be done. If I'm the organizers, I do the exact same thing. And so, hey, the guys know they have to be resilient in tournament-style play. You have to be ready to adjust. I don't think there's anybody that's adjusted more than we have in the country, just simply because of our weather and what we have to do early in the season. So we're used to moving game times around all the time. It wasn't that big a deal.
Back and forth game there for a while, but Willie Yawn's grand slam there in the 7th seemed to kind of break it open. How did that kind of impact the rest of the game?
That was huge. You know, it was a little bit of an exhale there, and I thought there were a lot of positives on our side. We really only had one, the top half of the 5th I could have done without, but other than that, I thought we played really well. We haven't scored 12 runs, I don't think, all year. I think that's the first time we've scored 12, and we picked a good time to do it.
Moving on to play Houston and day of rest tomorrow, but you'll meet them on Thursday. You met them just a couple of weeks ago, dropped that series, but a very competitive series, especially in that first game going into extra innings. What did you learn that weekend, and what do you hope to improve on from what you learned in that series?
Yeah. I want to enjoy this one for about 5 minutes. No, they're an extremely talented team. You saw how they put an inning together today when they absolutely had to. Very athletic. They're very good on the mound. We're going to have a heck of a test, but we'll enjoy this one for a little bit and then get to work on them tomorrow, have a good workout and a good work day, and back at it. But there's no breaks in this conference. It's so darn good.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. We'll see you Thursday.
Thanks, Haley.
Hello, how are you doing? How are you? I'm joined by Willie Yawn. Willie, congratulations on this win. Now only 2 home runs for you this season, and you chose to come up with one today and a grand slam at that. What was the reaction in the dugout when you ran into the dugout?
Yeah, everybody was pretty excited. I was just trying to, put a ball in play to get some runs in for the team, and it happened to squeak over the fence. I'd like to thank Mother Nature for that one, but, they all count. So, yeah, it's a good day.
For you, as one of the veteran returners on this team, how are you kind of using your experiences from the past conference tournament to lead a lot of these young guys and new guys out there?
I'm just trying to let the young guys know that it's just another game. Every day we come out here and play on this beautiful field. We get to play baseball. That's all that really matters. And, one pitch at a time, just slow it down as best you can.
It's not going to get any easier. You're taking on the co-regular season champs on Thursday, but you just met them a couple of weeks ago. What do you hope your team does differently this time around?
We just got to compete in the box. I think that series down in Houston, we kind of gave away some at bats, especially those first 2 games that we didn't get the win. But I know our pitcher's going to take good care of us, and we just got to keep the bats going like we did today.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll see you Thursday.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot, as head coach Jim Penders and the player of the game, Willie Yawn. Solid game today by UConn when they opened it up.
Yeah, they look great. They score a season high in runs, twice had 11 runs earlier in non-conference play. And for Cincinnati, they played 30 games this year where they never made an error. Today, they have a season high 3. That's really the tail of the tape.
They'll play Memphis tomorrow at 9 a.m. when we rejoin our coverage. For Garrett Wolford and all our staff, I'm Jeff Brightwell. Thanks for joining us today here on the American Digital Network.